Joe, wake up. It's a beautiful podcast.
So this is...
That's the last line of the film.
that is true, but this is a dialogue light movie.
It is.
I was like, what's he going to say? I guess that's true.
Lynne Ramsay testing me on the opening quotes.
Was there a tagline? What if he said, "Get ready to meet Joe"? How do you what's the worst tagline you could put?
Joe does things a little differently. There's a pull quote on the poster that is "taxi driver for a new century," which is a way to attempt to sell this movie with the moodiest poster of all time. Just like Joaquin Phoenix looking tortured and a girl drowning superimposed inside his body.
Right. That was the poster.
And Wong Kar-wai lights. I think it's a great poster.
It's a pretty evocative poster.
It's a mood poster, like all of hers. But I mean, there's there are more quotes here.
Duck, and it's him. He's swinging a hammer. Just be funny if they marketed this like Nobody 2.
It's hammer time.
It's like Joe was having a very bad day, and it's about to get even worse.
When Joe's on the clock, it's always hammer time. There are more quotes for this than there were for Morven Caller, and you look at them and you're like, well, isolated, these feel like quotes that could be out of Taken 2.
Right.
Like McCleary said, "You were brutal. I can be. I want you to hurt them." Mm-hmm. There's a version of that you see as a tense fucking Europa Corp thriller.
Yeah, that's like Russell Crowe being putting down his sandwich and being like, "All right, I'll get him."
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really bagging on Russell Crowe.
Do you know what paradise is? It's a lie, a fantasy we create about people and places as we'd like them to be. That could be a fucking Steven Seagal stares off into the middle distance.
It's making me realize it's like when Watchmen, the movie Watchmen, Zack Snyder's Watchmen, would just paraphrase dialogue and quotes and stuff from the comic, and it's like, no, you can't speak that aloud seriously,
right?
It'll sound ridiculous. Now in this, it's all mumbled or it's all
That's the magic of it to me.
They get away with it.
They completely get away with it.
He always sounds embarrassed to be saying what he's saying. If he's saying anything,
that's why it's one of his best performances.
He is
harnessing that aspect of him as an actor that always feels a little embarrassed to be acting.
And you're divisive on him in general. You have oft referred to him as a ham sandwich.
I mean, maybe introduce me before you start putting words in my mouth. But yes, I occasionally have called Joaquin Phoenix a ham sandwich.
But you agree with me. It is perhaps his best performance. It is certainly in that conversation.
Yeah, it's a good performance, and it's the mode I often like him in.
Is it the last one before he went so hard
before he took the stage,
doing kind of the same thing all the time?
A little bit. Well, because this premieres at Cannes in 2017.
Sure.
It comes out in the States in 2018.
Right.
And 2019 is Joker.
Yeah. In 2018, so sort of in between him making this and Joker coming out, he's got some weird stuff. He has the Jesus movie nobody saw.
Doesn't exist.
He has Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot, which is forgotten. The Gus Van Sant movie. I saw it too. It's pretty bad. It was okay.
It was, it had some charm, but
and he does Sisters Brothers, which I really like him in.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
pretty fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But obviously was sort of DOA audience wise, and then I mean,
but that's an interesting range year for him. When you think about this coming out in 2018, Sisters Brothers, Don't Worry, You Were Never Really Here is that's an interesting range of 3 different projects with 3 different really interesting directors in different modes, and he's not overdoing any of them.
No, I mean, this one is so, obviously this one in particular that we're all saying we like is very, very understated.
Yeah.
And I know, it's light on dialogue. You read the book too, right?
Yeah.
I watched the movie first.
Yes.
And then I read the book, and you're getting so much of his internal monologue and what is going on for him. And it's amazing to me how much that is coming through without any of the
voiceover.
Yes,
the same trick she pulls with Morven Caller, which is another movie of hers that's based on a book that's all internal monologue.
You know, it was a thought I had.
There's none of it in the movie.
A thought I had while watching this and then reading the book, which I only read recently. Finished it last night. It's not long. It was
a slim volume,
not as a Kindle single, but it was an experimental ebook novella when that was a medium people were trying to test out. And then now, since the movie, it's been published as a 97-page thing. But reading the book after seeing the movie, and I've been trying to do this with her other films as well, it feels like the book is like the backstory an actor creates for their character,
Yeah.
right? Where like really prepped, kind of studious actors will be like, I'm gonna write this whole fucking thing. I don't need to communicate it in the movie. It helps me ground it and place it and know what I'm playing internally, and hopefully not feel the need to like actually communicate it in an overstated way. And she somehow knows how to like reverse engineer that, extrapolate from these books that are so much about the internal life, pull out the plottier elements.
The thing I saw in a review of Die My Love Too, which I haven't seen yet, but was like somehow her camera movements make you feel the internal life of the character.
Yeah.
And like the sort of the way she chooses to like show the violence or like even show moments of him at rest and how restless he is in those spots is like, you know, the way that it's shot just like really makes you feel what he's feeling. And he's great.
Yes, I will add on to that. The additional trick in this movie that feels unique in her filmography is so often her movies are like you are 100% in the head of the character. You are seeing the whole movie from their point of view. You're placed in their inner life, and the film is like expressing that. This movie, in its sort of handling of PTSD and a sort of disassociation, is going between being really close in on him and feeling really distant removed. And the violence is a fascinating part of that, where this feels like a really brutal, violent movie where you almost never actually see
they
the
don't
thing
show
happen.
they don't show the actual one, which is also is obviously a huge stylistic choice that is different from the book, which the book graphically explains a lot of the brutality. But like when he goes through the like, you know, brothel or whatever, and you're just getting security camera footage, and it's sometimes cutting to a different angle of like the bottom of the stairs, and then it cuts back and you just see like what he has done,
incredible.
but you don't see him do it. That sequence is fucking awesome.
It rules.
It's not even in a like you wish you were seeing it. It's like, oh, I like I have such a sense of what's going on, and also like how scary it would be.
Everything
like,
about it.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a podcast called Blank Check with Griffin and David. I am Griffin.
I'm David.
And we were never really here. It's a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their careers and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. Sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce. Baby. Yep. This is a mini-series on the films of Lynne Ramsay. It's called We Need to Pod About Castvin. And today we're talking about my favorite film of hers and one of my favorite movies the last 10 years. You Were Never Really Here.
Yeah, a film that I've seen twice and really like, and a film that I think for you is basically like sleepy time, happy once a week, just like, I need to unwind. It's time to meet the hobo assassin again.
It's not quite that often. I do have some strange comfort movies that are in a real steady rotation. This is one that's more selective when I want to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But I find the filmmaking in this movie astonishing. There are choices she makes that still every time I watch it, and I've seen it many times. I think I saw it 3 times in theaters. For a long time, it's an Amazon movie. They bought it, so it's just always streaming on the world's worst streaming service. And now I finally have a physical copy of it, thanks to Australian distributors outside of Amazon's reign. But there are scenes in it I'll watch, but even every time I watch it, I kind of, there are things that still surprise me in it, in what it does and what it doesn't do.
Yeah.
Who's our guest?
Okay.
Jesus.
Our guest today shares with me, this is one of your favorite films in recent history as well, correct?
I love it. I mean, you were the first people I texted when I watched it.
Yes.
I think it's a totally slept on movie.
It is a little bit.
As
it's
I told
an Amazon thing, but yeah.
everyone who would listen that I was doing this podcast, just grabbing people on the street, I'm going to be on Blank Check. Have you heard the news?
In person for the first time.
And they said, what movie are you doing? And I'd say, You Were Never Really Here. And they go, huh?
What is that and who made that? And why are
even
they
people who I
about
think would love the movie.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you gotta watch it. But I also had kind of missed it.
Yeah.
The poster, which I agree is cool, didn't sell me on it. Like I was like, oh, okay, this looks like a moody thing. Maybe I'll try it sometime. But I don't know why I threw it on some streamer, but maybe like a half hour in, I was like, I gotta text Griffin and David. Like,
yes,
this movie fucking rocks. Like, I was just like, holy shit, it's awesome. Like, Joaquin's unbelievable in it. The directing's incredible. And it's like, I mean, it's tight as a fucking drum. Like it's like there's no fat on
Which
it.
I really appreciate.
It's so it flies.
Because you could sit in this misery, and that's a different decision. And I don't know if I would love that. And instead, it's like no, like just kind of like little pokes in your eye, like fast. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you just like counted up the scene, like it's like so efficient, which I have so much respect for.
It's I think like 81 minutes before the credits roll.
Yeah.
Basically,
I think it's listed as like 90 minutes, but it's really pretty much like an hour 20.
Yeah, which is great. It also feels smart in the sort of we discussed when we covered Train Spotting on this podcast that Danny Boyle's big rule going into that movie with all the key creatives is like, we got to sign a blood pact. This movie has to be under 90 minutes. We are not going to be able to sustain this. If we hit 95, it's going to become oppressive.
Yeah.
And I think she very smartly makes the same choice here. When it played at Cannes, it was an earlier cut that was longer that has never been released in any form since then.
You were never really released.
Our guest today, from Hollywood Handbook, screenwriter of The Dink.
That's right.
Which will be coming out.
I think it has a release date,
be
right?
this summer on Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Summer
Q2.
2026. Q2? Is it Q2 release?
Q3.
What? I don't get my Q's mixed up.
You want to get your P's and Q's.
That's the problem. You throw
probably
P's
more
in
of
there.
a Q3 if it's.
I've been told a date. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but it's summertime.
But it's coming out this year.
In the summertime.
Apple.
It's going to be 2026 summer, big fun summer comedy. Get ready to laugh again.
Laughs.
Can we have
funny laughs?
Am I allowed to have fun at all in this administration?
They told us that comedy was legal, and I'm not seeing a lot of evidence of that.
Yeah, well, it's legal again, and I'm actually going to be the first one to stand up and not get arrested for doing it.
Sean Clements.
The Clem Dog.
The Clem Dog's here.
Bow, wow, wow, woof, woof.
The Friends McMullen.
The Friends McMullen. We had a group text for a while called the Cinematrix Club where we post our daily Cinematrix scores. The two of you weirdly have decided to spend more time raising your children and less time playing Cinematrix.
It was pulling me away from my family in a very significant way. But especially because you guys are so good at it. And I was like, I can't be like totally humiliated every day. And I would like really like grind on this thing, and I was like, I'm not enjoying it.
I was starting to not enjoy it. That was sort of my problem, and that's no offense to the good people who make the Cinematrix. Right?
It was a daily ritual, which was nice because it also
things.
gave us like an excuse to once a day check in and throw in some spare movie thoughts and things like you texting.
Well, that's why.
Hey, I'm watching. You were never really here for the first time. Do you guys fuck with this movie?
I don't think it would have happened if we weren't Cinematrix friends who were, in touch basically every day for a while.
If we weren't clubbing, which we were.
Yeah.
And then the text thread has become more sporadic.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the trailer for The Family McMullen, the finally Ed Burns 30 years later legacy sequel. And I texted to you and say, this feels like it's demanding a teaser freezer.
Yeah.
And in honor of that, we have renamed the group text The Friends McMullen.
A teaser freezer is something we do on Hollywood Handbook
Legendary
sometimes
segment.
Where we will break down a movie trailer and poke fun at the foibles. But David had, I'm going to credit David with the observation of, he said, is Ed Burns the Irish-American Tyler Perry?
Yes. An incredible line.
Which was like
a kill shot.
Amazing quote.
Yeah.
And it really stuck with me. And so
I'm laughing at my own joke, but it is a good one.
Oh, so funny.
I forgot about that.
Because we were going through all his movie titles, which are all like the McGillicuddy brothers.
It's
like
staggering amounts of movies.
The Fitzgerald Family Christmas.
I'll read, because like the first, Brothers McMullen, She's the One. People were watching these movies.
Well, first of all, this great party trick of, how many movies do you think Ed Burns has directed?
So good.
Not anything else.
My girlfriend and I were watching The Chair Company on Max, and it auto-played a Family McMullen trailer, because I guess it's about to go to Max.
I'm sure.
And she was like, what? And I was like, Sean Simmons and I have
going to
been
Max at
buzzing
like the speed of light
about this for weeks. And then I paused it, and I said, just quick test. How many films do you think Ed Burns has directed? And she went, I'm going to guess it's a lot. Like 6?
Oh, sweetie.
He's got 15. He's got 15 under his belt, which is probably about 6 regular movies if you kind of like average them out, squeeze them together.
But I just love that you're like, well, 3 I've heard of, so I'm guessing there's 3 I haven't heard of.
Right.
And you're like, no, there's 12 to 13.
You've never
haven't
met
heard of.
Nice Guy Johnny.
Well, I met him.
Or you've never attended The Fitzgerald Family Christmas.
Called that one out.
Which weirdly has Connie Britton in it as well, but is not McMullen.
Right.
It's Fitzgerald.
But then there's another one with another Irish family name.
Yeah.
The Millers in
Millers in Marriage.
Millers
and
in
that's another one where the poster is like 14 actors you kind of know.
Yeah.
That clearly Ed has their phone number and is like, do you have 6 days? I've rented a house
We'll have a good time.
in Mamaroneck, like, or whatever. You know, like we'll do it.
We'll hang out, no nonsense.
Gretchen Mall, Juliana Margulies, Minnie Driver, Morena Bakar, and Benjamin Bratt, Patrick Wilson, Campbell Scott, Brian Darcy James.
They're
busy people.
It does feel like there's some Tyler Perry thing going on where you're like, I want someone to crack open the books of what the financing scheme is for these. You know, how is he getting access to these sets?
Right.
There's some
Who's giving him keys?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the Brothers McMullen was such a famous story of like he was like working for a production company. Yeah, or
he was
a PA and he was like stealing the cameras at night and like using their, using their copy machines or whatever the thing was and it was like this real run and gun but now he's got a budget.
They're union productions with name actors.
This is true, but there's got to be something going on with
Something's
how
going
these
on.
Things. I mean, my ultimate assumption obviously is that they are made very quickly.
Yeah,
because they're all just like talky dramas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and maybe I should just watch them all. I mean, maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and check in with Ed.
We also called out that
he's also done like 2 TV shows.
Directed 3 complete seasons of television himself. 3 seasons of 2 different shows where he directed every episode.
It's fucking insane.
The man keeps getting away with it.
He looks pretty good.
He looks pretty good.
That's all right.
He looks pretty good. We had really a lot of fun batting this around.
Oh, God. What a nice text. And then I got to talk about it on my podcast. Here we are talking about it again. But we're the Friends McMullen.
He hasn't acted.
We're the Friends McMullen.
He has not acted in a movie that he, didn't direct since Alex Cross.
Okay.
The Rob Cohen, sort of reboot.
Co-starring
Tyler Perry.
Yeah, the non-Irish Tyler Perry.
Did he take some notes? Did Tyler Perry go?
I wonder.
Come here.
Where he is the third guy. Look, this is crazy. He seems to be playing some kind of like detective sidekick. I don't know if Ed Burns can pull something like that off.
Seems like a murder or something going on here. I'm bringing all this up because the first ever teaser freezer, of course, in the first episode of Hollywood Handbook ever was Don Jon.
Don Jon.
A movie that you and Hayes Davenport came on to discuss on this podcast.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw the news.
Oh, I did.
New Joseph Gordon Levitt movie in production.
Might be time to run it back.
Train.
Might be time to run it back.
I think we got to call the shot right now.
We gotta complete that series.
Oh, I mean, we're continuing the JGL mini. Is what is this movie? Do we know what it's about?
It's Anna Kendrick, and is it about AI?
I feel like
hit record, Joe.
I feel like maybe I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. Like, I'm feeling kind of warm to JGL of late. I feel like he's like
gonna get in trouble for saying.
I don't know. People, I mean, Lord knows he's done something bad.
Get in trouble with who? Bane?
Not bad, but something corny.
You think Bane's thinking about you?
That's
oh my God.
Wow. That's actually pretty self-involved, David. Bane's got so much on his plate right now.
Isn't he? He's like always out there saying like AI sucks, I don't like it or whatever.
His wife is like a scientist.
Yeah, he seems like he's
and it
got
feels
a head
like
in his
she
shoulders.
is like, hey, Joe, here are like 20 bad things that are about to happen to society, and he's like, cool, I'll use my like star power to communicate
my
at
platform
large.
going. Yeah,
and then I think his movie is about that. I want to say
so. Like that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Am I crazy?
Joseph Gordon Levitt, quote, not a punk rock thing to use artists' work to train AI for free.
I mean, he doesn't need to say the punk rock part, but sure, right?
It's Rachel McAdams and Joseph Gordon Levitt.
I love Rachel McAdams.
Ryan Johnson
for another generation
is producing it under wraps for the AI movie. It's an AI movie. Interesting. Wait a second. Shares story credit with Natasha Lyonne.
Okay. And she's
Russian
she's been pretty
herself.
normal.
Yeah. I just think not only is the JGL series an ongoing project that we are serious about, I almost think you and Hayes need to be locked in for every time he makes a new
If he's gonna make a movie, man, we got to come and talk about it. I mean, we may have been too hard on Don Jon.
It might be. Maybe
I've been watching the movies that have come out since.
Yeah.
Have you seen everything in the last 15 years or so?
Don Jon might have been the last good movie.
I think that we were so spoiled.
We were.
We felt that we had permission to go in on Don Jon.
We were,
and we didn't know how good it was going.
This movie's approach to like depicting masturbation habits is very strange. And now we live in a world where masturbation is rarely depicted on screen, which is a much worse way of handling it.
It's missing.
It's missing.
It's missing
well,
from
also,
my diet.
Aren't we in a world where Gen Z is like the only way I know how to masturbate is like in like a VR cave or whatever? Isn't that like what gooning is or whatever?
That's what's been going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now I'm like, Don Jon is like, that was a blue collar masturbator. You know, that guy he cracked open a Dell laptop.
Fucking salt of the earth.
He was masturbating to human women filmed on shitty cameras.
He would type like boobs into Google or whatever. Like whatever Don Jon did.
Fuck, two boobs, fuck.
Right. And then like ScarJo's kind of mean to him and he's like, oh, I like it. You know, like,
creams his jeans. It's good shit.
It's such prosaic horniness, like compared to whatever the Zoomers are doing.
It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time. And we're part of the problem. We made times complicated.
Well, we shamed him.
We shamed him.
I hope he doesn't.
And that has now driven all of youth into a VR cave. It's the only way they can get off.
We're all stuck in a post Don Jon VR cave.
Yeah, because we made it embarrassing to be Don Jon.
Yeah.
And where are the it was playing off this Jersey Shore aesthetic that also has like encapsulated this one moment in time for us that I feel like should be preserved.
Right, that is just so quaint and old fashioned, the Jim Tan Laundry kind of thing.
But also, does Jersey Shore get revived in the time in between when we did the episode and now? I can't even.
Revived.
I mean, come on, like that didn't last. I know. I mean, we got Snooki's
Ben used
best
to
friend
produce
over here.
Snooki's podcast. I don't know if you know this.
That's true. Jesus, Ben, I'm sorry, man. I didn't.
I appreciate
I feel like such a fucking asshole, dude. Congratulations, man. That rocks.
Thank you.
I mean, Snooki.
Yeah,
Nicole.
Not a lot of one name superstars coming out of reality TV these days.
No, especially in the podcast world. Who are the one named podcasters?
Dax.
We had Seth Rogen on the show, and it was I kept falling into this problem where I'd go like, yeah, and we have Rogan doing Big Lebowski on the pod, and people would go, Joe? And I was like, oh, you can't, within the context of pod,
can't say Rogan.
You can't say Rogan. But he's a one name, but not the first name. I think if you say Joe.
Probably.
But not definitely. Theo.
All these terrible
You say
people.
Joe, I'm thinking about Biden.
Same. And when's he going to start his podcast? I love hearing that guy talk.
I really would
He's
love
got a knack for it.
At length.
No, but he should do a fucking serial style podcast about corn pop.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm going to prove to you that this guy, I'm going to interview everyone who knew him. I'm going to go deep, like full investigation on whatever pool he used to hang out in Wilmington or whatever it was. Or it could be called a bad dude.
I took to the mean streets of Delaware.
Yeah. I think he's like walking around.
We should plant a bunch of hidden mics in Joe Biden's home.
Right, not a crime.
And just record him puttering and murmuring and release those in 1 hour installments. I think his monologue out loud to himself on a daily basis would probably be the best podcast I listen to.
Or what if he does the model where like Obama and Bruce paired up?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Who would Biden pair up with musician wise?
Well,
like who's the musician of Biden's age?
The guy from Smash Mouth,
Brian Adams.
Brian. It's like Frankie Valli.
Like, who is Joe Biden's favorite musician?
I was trying to tee up, some kind of really old.
The problem is if we ask Joe who's the musician you want to do a podcast with, he'd be like, "Let's call up Al Jolson. What's he done recently?" Mammy.
His favorite band.
What's his favorite band?
It seems to be just like some kind of like Irish folk band or something. I'm trying to figure out like
good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just him and Michael Flatley.
Yeah.
Is Michael Flatley still
kicking?
Still
Absolutely. Yeah. He's still doing stuff.
You know the whole thing with him is that he broke off from Riverdance, right? You know,
Yes.
when I lived in England, Riverdance was like 40% of the like economy in that country. And like so every 5 minutes when you watch TV, there would be ads for Riverdance or Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance,
By the
which
way,
was his rival company.
Same deal in the United States in the 90s.
I
remember
guess it was
a
just a
period of
huge
time where
deal.
those two things were just playing alternating.
Did any
every
of you
commercial
ever
break.
see
It
Riverdance?
hit.
Absolutely not.
No, but I feel like I did.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like Irish Rockettes. Is like,
Mhm.
again, I'm making a lot of Irish stereotype sort of jokes on this podcast, which is a little rich for me. I'm not Irish.
Sure.
Hey,
I'm done.
I'll give you a pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
okay.
He's pushing over a pass.
Is handing you a clover. It is one of those things for like 10 years, you could have play and a character breaks into some sort
that
of like
felt
step
racist.
dance.
That's punchline.
That was a punchline.
That's a
all you
punchline
need to
on
do. And it would
anything.
hit
Yeah.
every single time. Any character breaking into Riverdance for 5 seconds would
Riverdance.
hit.
This is me to my dad. Riverdance.
And now, right.
Just say it.
And
it was
now, if I like,
They're doing
completed
Riverdance.
joke.
if I told anyone about Riverdance, they would be like, "No,
What is that?
Nobody gives a shit about that."
That and the Chanting Monks CD
Sure,
that our parents
sure.
got into at one point felt like just this moment where it was like
Completely agree.
maybe another culture, but just for a minute and just one
Yeah.
thing they do.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It
what
was
is
like-
is it Enigma who did the Chanting Monks song, or right? You know, the like
Pure Moods.
yeah, the Pure
Yeah.
Moods, the mix that would come on, right? Yeah, just like
Can't
those
remember.
guys. Whoever was just like, what if we did a monk song, right? And then they hits, and then another guy's probably like, could I do a monk song? It's like, nope, like doors closed. Like there was one monk opportunity.
In 2018, Michael Flatley wrote, produced, directed, and starred in an espionage action thriller
Sounds good.
called Blackbird. Quote,
Okay.
Michael Flatley as you've never seen him before with Eric Roberts. It's a Casablanca riff.
Wait, they got Eric Roberts.
They
Whoa.
got
this?
Eric Roberts, and it didn't actually see release for 4 years. That's
Now-
what he's up to.
Well,
Here-
the movie's made in the editing bay.
It is.
And nobody knows that better than Flatley.
he
and let me
claims
s-
to be in pre-production for Blackbird too.
And let me I'll get us back on track with this.
Please.
If you look at this poster,
Uh-huh.
kind of a You Were Never Really Here vibe.
Bloody beaten.
Wow,
You
it
know?
Yeah.
It does look like
is.
Flatley is maybe, you know, someone who could wield a hammer.
Mhm.
Michael Flatley is you've never seen him before.
Not dancing.
Feet planted.
You were never really here.
Mhm.
So I did see this film in theaters. I thought this is that golden early age of Amazon
Yep.
pumping out auteur content from guys who were sort of striking out at major studios. So like Spike Lee, Whit
Mhm.
Stillman, this Lynne Ramsay, Woody Allen.
Mhm.
Who else
Well,
was in that kind of early
Todd
wave?
Solondz,
Todd Salons.
Hal Hartley.
That was crazy.
They did 3 with him, I feel like.
I mean, because he's Ed Bird, so he just needs 8
Yeah,
bucks.
but he had a little mini second wind and like Love and Friendship.
Ken Lonergan, obviously.
Lonergan,
you know,
yeah,
that was one
yeah.
of their biggest hits.
Yeah, that was an acquisition.
but nonetheless, it was like
The
they were
branding
very
was consistent.
very savvy about this kind of like
These-
let's buy up this kind of American art house stuff that used to be common.
These are the kings of Sundance
Right.
of like 1980 to 2002 who have gotten pushed out of the studio system, the death of the mini major specialty arm. We got to get these guys back. And this is one that they buy because it was independently financed. It was run in Variety that A24 was going to buy it.
which
and
makes
then-
total sense.
Total sense. And then during production, Amazon sweeps in and outbids them and gets the rights.
Swoops in.
Swoops in.
It's fine. It's whatever. But
Thank you. I need these corrections.
Mike
Is
Lee's
it close to the vest or close to the chest?
Mike Lee's
That I'll accept
Peterloo
both.
Okay.
is another one. Mike Lee's
Oh, yeah,
Peterloo. You know,
yeah,
like where
that's
they're
another
kind of
one.
like, do you want a little bit more money, or we'll acquire, or we'll
Yeah.
like, you know, we'll sort of Bigfoot someone at a film festival in this
And
case.
we've talked about it, but it's the shit that like Netflix did when they started out, although not as successfully. And Annapurna was sort of based on of like, what's the thing that's gotten rejected everywhere else?
yeah.
What's the thing that-
Annapurna-
No one else will let you make, and we can build our reputation as seeming so artist friendly by supporting you.
And they did.
They did.
And they didn't make any money.
They made no dollars.
they made
They made
dollars
no
and
dollars
cents.
and no cents. It's Amazon was interesting because like they made Manchester work commercially.
Yeah.
That movie made like fucking $50-60 million.
It's one of the
domestic.
last true arguments of like you really can put, you know, these things in theaters and get them Oscar noms and they will grow and they'll like, you know, have a good run.
They got Big Sick to like 50-60.
They did. Yeah.
Love and Friendship, they got to like 20 something. Like they had quite a few that were working, and
Yeah.
it was sort of like This is the model. Why aren't the other streaming services doing this?
Brittany ran that marathon.
Brittany ran the marathon.
And she ran that shit right into the ground.
Look, Jen Psaki took over the company, made some decisions that affected me personally. But then also went to Sundance that year and spent, I think, a combined $50 million on Late Night, Brittany Runs a Marathon, and The Report, the Scott Z. Burns movie.
It's a good movie.
And I tried to give all 3 wide releases and was astounded when public audiences didn't flock to those films in mass, and the next year declared, my takeaway is that movie-going is dead and people don't like movies.
Have you seen Brittany Runs Marathon?
Yep. Based on a true story. Do you know that? You believe that?
I'm starting to come around to that being possible. Now, I can't just accept that at face value. Like, people say that. Fargo says that.
Fargo says that.
That's true. And
it's like,
you
it's inspired by this kind of thing maybe that happened, but I've been tricked before. So I'm hanging on to.
We'll never forget being at Sundance. Yeah. Brittany runs a marathon. The movie ends. Credits roll. Then they give you the black and white photo of and here's the real Brittany running and someone behind me being like, who gives a shit? Like, just truly the most frustrated junior exec being like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
So what? She didn't even become a state senator or anything. She just literally ran a marathon.
It's a funny story to do a side-by-side photo with the real version. Because usually that's some historical.
Yeah, it's like freaking Nelson Mandela or whatever. They're like, and here's the real Brittany. I'm like, great, a lady. Guess what? I go to the marathon every year. I watch them go by. There's lots of people who do this.
Do you think if Jen Psaki goes to the marathon, she's like, this is a development dream?
50 million stories.
They're all here. We'll have discussed this recently on this feed, but Bradley Cooper's Is This Thing On is another movie that ends with a big, based on a true story, as if the audience is going, God, I mean, that was unrealistic. Such a thing could never happen. I need the assurance.
An adult man trying stand-up?
Impossible. Getting divorced?
You're telling me this comedian was feeling a little bit adrift? Sorry, it doesn't track.
Sometimes comedy comes out of misery. It's a way to process our pain. But pretty comfortable white collar pain.
I am going to open the dossier because I do feel like this movie does have kind of a complicated.
It does.
Or Lynne Ramsay has a complicated journey from her last movie, We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yeah.
To here. I feel like We Need to Talk About Kevin is her biggest hit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a breakthrough. And especially for Oscilloscope, which was a small distributor.
Right.
I feel like that was very much their highest grossing film at the time.
Are you guys going to address the Lynne Ramsay backlash happening in the blank check community? Are we even going to deal with that?
You've been checking the Reddit?
Yeah, Griff. I'm on there.
What's the latest on the backlash?
Just that it's basically the least blank check worthy director you've ever done. Like, what's her blank check? There literally is not a blank check. So it's just there isn't one. So I guess it's your podcast to do whatever you want. But
yes, we can address this. Look,
and we also, just for the record, do their voice more like the Bugman and Men in Black.
Oh yeah, D'Onofrio.
I mean, she's never even gotten
a blood check's pet cat.
Sugar and water. I think that thread, which always happens every single time we pick a female director.
It does happen every time.
No offense to whoever started that thread, because that thread is obviously totally correct, or that discourse is totally correct in that, yes, Lynne Ramsay has never been handed anything remotely akin to a blank check to make a movie.
Absolutely.
But Lynne Ramsay has been able to make the movies she's made, which are strikingly independent and dark and different movies, uncommercial movies, with major stars.
Increasingly bigger and bigger stars.
Yes.
Right. To her latest effort, of course, being her most expensive, I guess, especially if you include the sort of acquisition of it.
Yeah.
And most star-laden. Without seemingly ever really compromising what she wants to do. Now, she's always like, oh, this happened, and I wish this could have happened. And there's always unrealized projects or whatever.
But that speaks to, in fact, her not compromising, right? I mean, we will have covered this in other episodes, and we'll keep covering this, but there's so many movies she walks off of, or lets fall apart because she's just like, this is going in the wrong direction. I'd rather not make a movie than make a movie I can't stand
Speaking
behind.
about all that, let me tell you that after she made We Need to Talk About Kevin, she wanted to make
Mobius Dick?
Correct. I mean, it's got various titles over the years, Mobius being the most common one, but a sort of sci-fi Moby Dick epic.
Ben, this is Lynne Ramsay's dream project, her ultimate blank check.
It's like a spaceship movie, but they're chasing some kind of space whale.
It's a giant space whale. I mean, now probably if she could get Piacon attached, she could probably get financing, right?
That's so true.
It helps that there's a bankable space whale in the kind of commercial ecosystem. Where
that's lucky.
If Piacon will do it for scale,
I mean,
that's a go
obviously,
picture.
She's never been out there being like, I need $90 million to make my space movie. She's always said, I can make it at a small budget. I assume it's sort of be like Claire Denise's High Life of like, yeah, this is mostly psychological. It's mostly set on a ship. It's like,
small budget,
but you need some
it's still like
effects.
15, probably, I'm guessing.
Who knows?
She has generally worked with small budgets, and then the blank check is distributors keep overpaying for her movies.
Sometimes
and then being surprised when they're a little hard
nobody
to
wants
sell.
to see this movie. Jennifer Lawrence is hitting her head into every wall and mirror and window she can see.
Movies rubbing their hands, and they're like, the memes we're gonna make off of this.
So while she's planning that, she gets attached to a film called Jane Got a Gun, which I assume, Sean, you have maybe heard of this project.
This is the kind of infamous, she walks off. Was it like a day before production started, the day after?
We could talk about it. So she says like Mobius, that's like her Stanley Kubrick's Napoleon, right? Like where it's like, that's the thing I'm always going to want to do, but it might always be impossible. But Natalie Portman, who I think admires her, is like, I am developing this like girl Western. I'm going to star. It's called Jane Got a Gun. It's based on is it based on a comic book or?
No. It's a spec written by Brian Duffield.
Right.
Who now has made
he made like No One Will Save You and stuff like that.
Yes, and Spontaneous and Love and Monsters, I think he wrote as well. I mean, has a tremendous amount of credits as writer and director. But it was a Blacklist script in 2011 that Natalie Portman gets as a producer, kind of coming right off of her like Black Swan heat. It is a thing that like Natalie Portman has been called out for a little bit, that she never worked with female directors.
Yeah, sure,
and would sort of talk about like the need for women to stick together in Hollywood, and people would kind of side eye her, being like, "Yeah,
why don't you just fucking do it?"
And so like here she is,
she's
like,
trying to
hot off
develop
an
this
Oscar.
thing.
She buys a script with her own money, attaches Lynne Ramsay and Michael Fassbender.
It's going to be her, Michael Fassbender. Jude Law is going to be the villain. It's going to shoot in New Mexico. First day of shooting, Natalie Portman shows up. Michael Fassbender has exited because he has to play Magneto again for like the third time or whatever.
Right.
He's going to be replaced with Joel Edgerton. Jude Law and Lynne Ramsay both quit. Lynne Ramsay just does not arrive. It becomes this kind of disaster variety story kind of thing of like, producers being like, there's 150 crew members who are getting left in the lurch here. Like it's a whole legal battle and stuff.
The crazier thing also,
she's accused of not delivering a shooting script. She's apparently, they said that her behavior had gotten kind of bizarre, like whatever. I think she was clashing with producers. What do you?
Joel Edgerton was like attached and then replaced and then came back in a different role. There was like a lot of musical chairs with this movie.
Ewan McGregor is the ultimate choice to whatever, fill the third role. They sue her for like $750,000, which is her fee. It's settled out of court like 3 years later. Lynne Ramsay finally says, when she talks about it many years later, is like, at the 11th hour, it's just like, the guys financing this movie just do not want the movie I'm going to make.
Right.
And so she quit. I mean, I think that basically completely cements her relationship with someone who's very difficult to work with and just doesn't play like Hollywood games well, right?
Yeah, yes. And I think the other part of it is it was like catnip for Deadline. In my memory, it was like there would be 3 stories a day. Because it's like this movie is up and running and the director is gone and the lead actor is gone. Every day there were like 3 new stories about, I mean, I'm even just reading here where it's like, on April 5th, it was announced that Bradley Cooper would replace Law in the role of John Bishop. On May 1st, it was announced that Cooper was withdrawing from the film.
Yeah, Cooper was briefly.
Every day it was like a new actor's in talks, a new actor's dropped out. They're meeting with 6 new directors.
I know we don't get like too inside baseball on the business here, but to make a feature film, and I've only really been directly involved with one, but to make a feature
Q2,
film without maybe Q3, but to make a feature film without the director and star is like
tough.
Extremely challenging.
Really tough.
That is generally
it's a very bad set environment.
Yeah. Dysfunctional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But I think that's fair.
Let me rephrase. Non-functional. I would say it's going to be pretty tough to make a movie function with neither director nor star. Now movies have done it missing one or the other.
Sure.
The weird thing is, the movie was eventually made. Gavin O'Connor directs the final version. It came out, it made like $2.
Yes.
Like it was dumped so intensely by the Weinstein Company.
Yeah, and like
in 2015.
Right.
I've never seen it.
Everyone was like kind of shopping around it. At one point it had like Weinstein Relativity, CBS and Focus Features all like hovering and then taking pieces and then dropping out and someone would replace it. Like it was this movie with all this energy that they wouldn't let shut down. And they kind of like kept the corpse alive and got it finished and no one gave a shit.
It's really surprising that all those people leaving doesn't just make it not get done.
Right.
But an object in motion.
But it cost $25 million.
It cost a lot. I mean, could have cost 100, I guess, but it cost a lot of money.
I'm sure
zero money.
A lot of that was kind of the overruns of keeping people on hold and whatever. But if she had done this would have been her biggest budget thing. Now, to this, the complaint of the Reddit, right, or the questioning, it's like you could say, well, how can you define her as a blank check director when she's never had a budget over yada, 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 right?
Yeah, which, by the way, I'm just telling you what Reddit said.
No, I know. And at the end of the day, this is a podcast, despite my opening spiel, about what we want to cover. That is, I would say, the number one thing this podcast is about. And she's one of my favorite filmmakers. And specifically from the moment that I see You Were Never Really Here, I'm like, fuck, the next time she releases a movie, I want to do her on main feed. But I think she is interesting in how she has kind of refused the blank check that would come with a lot of strings attached. And even some people more strategically might be like, look, if I make Jane Got a Gun and it's got 4 big stars and it's a Western and it's got more sellable elements and I lose half the battles to the financiers, but it gets released and becomes automatically my highest grossing film. Doesn't that help me get Mobius Dick done? Isn't that worth it as like means to an end? And she seems, for better or worse, incapable of doing that.
Certainly. So she does what we'd all do, which is moves to Santorini, which is, of course, a Greek island in the Aegean Sea. Falls in love with a Belarusian chef because she has divorced her husband, Rory Stewart Kinnear, has a kid with him. And then Jacques Audiard's company, Why Not, sends her over a copy of You Were Never Really Here in 2013. Now, I've never read the book. It's written by the Bored to Death guy.
Jonathan Ames.
So I usually think of him, of course, writing about like, I don't know, I'm in Brooklyn, I need a coffee.
He was, just to give a little bit of background, he was sort of like a pervy, straight David Sedaris.
That is actually a really good description of Jonathan Ames.
Dead on.
Like he would write about, and it was like, it was, famous essay about like his late puberty where he talked about like not having pubic hair for a long time and then like, whatever, having his first sexual experience with a prostitute. But it was all like navel-gazy, sort of wry,
comical
precious,
oversharing.
Yes, like confessional work. And then I haven't read many of his novels prior to this, but there's this, which I think is his first time dipping his toe into, because even Bored to Death is sort of like, what if a neurotic writer was like solving crime?
And the character's named after him.
It's super pastiche. I enjoyed Bored to Death back in the day. It was a fun time.
He was like a brilliant self-promoter and that he made himself a figure. which helped him kind of cut through a bleak moment in the literary world.
Right. It's the Fran Lebowitz thing. It's like, if you are just funny and you live in New York and you can just like do panels and
he would do panels,
chatty shit.
And he'd do readings where he would like hire an opera singer to read his book out, and he was like boxing on the side.
You quirky, self-deprecating. You kind of feel good about yourself that you're like, this guy's got real problems.
Exactly.
It's like you're like, I can, but meanwhile, he's like a famous, successful person, but it's not threatening to anyone.
This book does feel like a radical departure from everything he had done up until this point in time.
It's so grim and brutal. There's nothing self-referential to his life at all. It's just the imaginings of like this, like, this man who has this job rescuing like women who are like in like child sex trafficking situations. But then he breaks off into doing this series of like noir detective books, these doll books that are like incredible, that feel very much sprung from this.
The Happy Doll series. He's got 3 of them.
Yeah, A Man Named Doll, Karma Doll, and The Wheel of Doll are the 3 books, and they're fucking awesome.
I have not read those. Those are good?
I love them.
Sure.
But it's like, it's just very surprising that this guy who I was aware of and had this very specific voice just has this whole new chapter.
Has reinvented
He said
himself.
when he wrote this, you never really hear, he's like, this is sort of an homage to first the Richard Stark, the Donald
Westlake,
the Donald Westlake Parker series, but also like Lee Child, Jack Reacher books, and all that. So he knows he's sort of doing not a pastiche, but an homage to like a genre he loves.
Look, the book is fairly earnest. It is not tongue in cheek in any way, but there is something pastiche about it in that it is very much, the book reads as more of a noir riff than the movie does. And I think what the book is interested in is like, what is the kind of like really disturbing subtext under these stories that we skirt around, right? Not just like the intensity of the crimes, but also like, what is the inner life of a guy who does this kind of shit?
Yeah.
And like, what toll does this take on you, and what drives someone to that point versus being this kind of like cool, above it all, vacant,
Jack Reacher character who's like so untouchable, and it's like he's, they're complete loner drifters, and you just go like, because they're too cool and there's no strings attached, they can leave whatever. And he's like, no, but internally this guy is like constant suicidal ideation. Like, just like the only thing keeping him going is that he has this like one purpose he's identified that he can do that he thinks helps people, and that just like keeps pulling him back from the brink.
Yeah, I mean, you were never really hear the title comes from the repetition of the suicidal ideation. In the book, that's the thing he says to himself when he imagines killing himself, to kind of alleviate the pressure of the idea of like,
that's why he doesn't need to do it, because he was never really here anyway.
Right. Which is what this guy's struggling with. But he is also physically described in the book as being so much more of a traditional Jack Reacher type.
Yeah.
Like, here's this kind of like handsome, he's older than he looks. He's 6'2". He's 190 pounds of pure muscle, and he looks like an avenging hero. And then the contrast is inside, this guy just wants to fucking die. There's a paragraph I just want to read quickly to your point, which is the big thing the movie doesn't over explain. He had come to believe that he was the recurring element, the deciding element in all the tragedies experienced by the people he encountered. So if he could minimize his impact and his responsibility, then there was the slight chance, that there would be no more suffering for others. It was a negative, grandiose delusion, narcissism inverted into self-hatred, a kind of autoimmune disorder of his psyche, but there was an undeniable element of truth to Joe's paranoid state. Where he went, pain and punishment followed. And it's like, that's the animating idea of like, a guy doing this would not really be able to live with himself, even if what he's doing from the outside seems heroic. And what would drive someone to do the right thing in such extreme circumstances has to be a little bit warped, because no sane person with any self-protective instincts can kind of live in this and survive it.
Yeah, he goes into the worst places where the worst people are doing bad things, and then he does bad things there, and then one good thing comes out of it, maybe.
Right, and we love these kind of fictions of the one guy who's willing to stand up to the bad in the world.
Yeah.
And ask these questions when these things happen in real life of like, how did no one stop it? And you're like, because it's super fucking difficult to stop it. Not just in terms of like breaking down these systems and challenging these people, but also you literally just have to go into the depths of hell to even confront these things. And most of the time, people don't come back out of that.
And he's a guy who is living with so much from his background in the military and whatever else he's done, pain and flashback and PTSD already, that it's sort of like might as well get more, like there's no escaping it for him.
Yeah.
So it just seems like he's just like, okay, well, I'm the person who can go and do this because like it doesn't matter what I see, I've seen it all.
The book is really tough, but it makes sense as something that someone could read and go like, there's a halfway commercial movie in this. You know, there is a kind of like inverted art house taken in this, and it kind of makes him such a specific, striking character. But it is like, the book is more noir-y in terms of being in his head. It's not written first person, but it's describing what he's thinking and what he's doing. And it's very like methodical and process based in how he goes about these missions. But also it's like explaining him putting the pieces together and solving the mystery, which is a thing the movie does
not do.
It doesn't have him like on the case.
Not at all.
You
He
see
just kind
him
of
kind of fit the pieces
And they simplify
together.
the case.
Yeah.
Right, but
yes,
but this has
That makes sense in terms of
there's
book versus
there's
movie.
more
Totally.
of a kind of like pulpy, wicked web of intrigue and corruption.
The way that Phoenix is playing this character, also obviously, it's not. This is not Batman, the world's greatest detective. This is not a deductive guy in that way.
No. You see him like put it together almost as just because he understands suffering.
Like, huh?
No, he's less. Yeah, he's less savvy in the movie because, like, in the book, he's like being careful about certain.
He's
like,
tracking
in the movie, it's like he
threads.
calls the guy who's his contact right away.
Right.
To be like, hey,
So Lynn's like, I kind of want to do this, and people keep being like, "What? This isn't the kind of thing you would do." And she's like, "That only made me want to do it more. Like that energized me."
But so it is. Sorry, it's Odiard who reaches out to her.
Odiard's production company sent her the book.
Okay.
Yeah. And they didn't even have the rights, but she's like, I'm fucking sitting in Greece with no internet and like there's nothing to do. And I just start writing the script.
Yeah.
And then I just like get connected with Jonathan because we know, mutual people. And we start chatting about it. And I start basically saying, this is what I want to keep. This is the bones of the character that I like. And he's all for it. And, she's got a baby. So I think like it's like almost a sort of like, I remember, not to name drop, but like M. Night Shyamalan saying the same thing of like when you have a baby, if you're trying to write something, it actually focuses you because you have like 2 hours to write because the responsibility is there versus the kind of like, I've got all day. Let me sit at the desk and see what fires up.
Well, same with podcasting. Now you have the focus of knowing you only have 4 hours to discuss a movie.
it does. I think it does.
David's smiling and he's giving me thumbs up and he's blowing kisses
He's
to me
really
and saying,
happy.
I love you. He's so
This
And
guy
happy.
David's
He
definitely not
likes-
having crazy acid flashbacks about the Reddit. Well, that's all being said. Yes,
He
yes,
likes
Sean?
He
this. No,
likes this a lot.
I agree that you do end up using your time more efficiently.
Right, you
like
have
you're
to,
just like,
like-
okay, I only have this window.
Right.
And I had a boss once who said like your creativity will expand to fit the container you give
Yeah,
it. Like
sure. I
it's
think
like
that's a
the
good way to think
natural
about
gas
it.
theory or whatever.
That's
Like
really- that's interesting and surprising because I have 0 kids and I use my time horribly. I actually couldn't manage it worse. I almost have nothing but time, and yet
And so what's the opposite of
Nothing
a
gets
container?
done.
Like what are you in? You're in like Minecraft.
ocean?
Yeah, exactly.
I almost have negative children.
You certainly can't say to a 1-year-old like, "Daddy's got to write a screenplay."
Yeah, for sure.
That diaper is just gonna have to go unchanged.
Yeah.
So Kevin, obviously, which is her last adaptation, that's a big book. It's epistolary. It's all these letters and stuff. Like, that's a complicated thing. This, she's like, the book you could read in 90 minutes. Like the movie should be just as pulpy and like fast in a way.
For sure.
But it's her version of that, I would say.
But she makes the sparsest version of what is already a sparse
Right.
text.
She's like, look, I'm trying to make it pulpy. It does turn into what I always do, which is a character study.
Right.
I feel like this guy's head is full of broken glass. He's suicidal. He's sticking around just because of his mom, sort of. He's like a ghost in his own life, basically. She thinks about movies like Le Samurai or whatever, about similarly kind of like people who just don't have like a personal life, right? Like these sort of like but this Le Samurai is obviously about the coolest, most handsome motherfucker you've ever seen, who's so well dressed.
and The American too, which is
Which is an awesome
almost
movie.
the same movie and
A movie
really
you love, right?
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is closer to, we've covered a few movies like this, and it is something that sticks with me. It is a type of narrative that I find very effective, which is a guy who passes his breaking point. You know, in a movie where even if the character is able to resolve the ostensible narrative, they're never coming back from this.
Well, and they do. I mean, it's explained in the book too, but he's a guy he's a bad dude.
Yep.
And he kind of like does the job, and then he goes home and he has this little life with his mom.
Right.
Yes.
And that is like,
not related to what he does.
And it's not pleasant.
It's not like
it's not like amazing, but it's like he has a purpose at home as well when he's not working.
Yes.
To take care of his mother, who they both like suffered abuse, at the hands of his dad. And so he's got this like, I am like of value in the world, even when I'm not doing this thing. And then that gets taken away, and you're just like, okay, so what? Like,
who am I?
Now what is he? And he's just then going to be like a fucking berserker.
Right. Yeah, because just to spell it out, I mean, you start basically with the kind of his internal chaos. This guy whose head is full of glass is constantly like ideating on drowning and things like that. But also these constant flashbacks, which start with him being a child, his father physically abusing him, but also the feeling of being in the closet, hearing his mother being attacked and not being able to protect her, which makes a ton of sense as like a motivating force that defines the next step of his life, which is he goes into trying to ostensibly help protect through the professional like arms of the American government, right? And he ends up becoming a specialist. All this stuff is not like spelled out. It is like pieced together really well in these like horrible traumatic flashbacks of just like glimpses of images and association, the things he can't get out of his brain.
They keep playing him just that one line of him going, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we and it's like, I assume a really great summation of like, if you work in a unit that recovers people from human trafficking, or if you're in the military in some special unit, that it's like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Like, it's just like things are getting so fucked up.
This guy's like two main recurring images are being in a closet, trying to suffocate himself with a dry cleaning bag, basically just to stop the pain and to stop himself from screaming, which he now does like as a ritual almost every morning. And then the other recurring image is like the feeling of kicking down a door.
Being minutes too late to recover like a pile of bodies,
seeing like glassy-eyed sort of like numbed young women, right? And you get the sense that it's been like the times that he became a sort of task force specialist in trying to retrieve victims of sex trafficking, knocking down the door when it's too late, but also the feeling that when he was in the military, he probably was the one knocking down the door on innocent women, invading homes and whatever towards some greater end, which then makes him go, what are we doing here? I need to be fighting for the right people. But then he's stuck in the darkness of that.
Well, yeah, and who are the bad guys and who are the good guys? He has the military flashbacks where they're, like whatever. It just feels like, he's very much lost in terms of like, how do I do good in a world that's so dark?
And it's broken me, and the book is sort of getting at this feeling of, the only way I can actually do good is if I cut out all the middlemen, if there aren't rules around me. Yeah.
She's very anti-flashback, but then she sort of has that approach of like, if it's like post-traumatic stress, it's like trauma that he's reliving. It's a little different from like a full flashback.
Which I think this movie
very clever.
depicts like incredibly well.
Yeah. So I have I'll share a quick story, which is I was in a car in, I think it was like 2003.
This is a long time ago, right?
This was 2003. I was driving in my mom's Nissan Quest minivan to to massage therapy school, as one does.
Wow.
You were going to become a masseuse?
I was a licensed massage therapist for a few years while I was like first trying to be an actor.
That rocks.
What would it take to get that license back up and running? How easy is it to get reactivated?
I haven't done my continuing education units. I haven't done my CEUs. So I'd probably have to do a little bit.
I love massage.
Yeah, it was a school. So, I mean, just whatever, to take another detour. It's like, I think my mom had heard an interview with John Corbett saying that he was a hairstylist when he was a struggling actor because once you got a client base, you like didn't have to work 40 hours. You could kind of schedule them around your life. You could audition and stuff.
You're
So
like,
at that
what's more
time-
interesting than being a caterer or a bartender or whatever?
Yeah, it was
Right.
like maybe there's a job like that, and there was like a very good school. This Connecticut Center for Massage Therapy was like a good accredited school for it that was really close to me. So I went and checked it out. I was like, okay. So I learned a lot about, you know, whatever, the body. I learned Reiki. I've done it all. And I worked in spas, and I worked on the Cirque du Soleil acrobats at one point, like as I was like traveling, just doing like backstage work for different shows.
Yeah.
But, so it was interesting. But anyway, I was driving to school. It had snowed recently. I'm in this old minivan that like the dials on it don't really work. And suddenly the speed drops. Like I go from going 65 to going like 35.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. I hit the brakes to kind of like pull over. The brakes don't work. So I'm just rolling down the highway, and then the car starts to fill through the vents with like the darkest, thickest, most foul smelling smoke I've ever smelled in my life.
Yeah.
And I roll down the windows, and people are pulled up alongside of me, and they're waving at me. And this woman's going, "Your car is on fire. Your car is on fire." And I turn and I go, "I know, I can't stop." Now, luckily, it had sort of recently snowed.
Okay.
So without really being able to see,
Yeah.
I kind of am able to drive off to the side up along a snowbank and skid along the snow. It wasn't just the guardrail. There was like a pile of snow.
Yeah.
I skid along that until it slowed down enough that I got out, jumped out, ran out of the car, also not thinking, for some reason, leaned back in and turned the keys and turned the car off and took the keys out, which like
you think
just felt very stupid
you
later.
remember this now.
I remember it now, but I just like but I like had gotten out and went back into it, and then I kind of jogged up the shoulder, and the fire was going, and the windshield exploded. I don't know the physics of it, you know, if it was cold or whatever, but the tires
cold
exploded.
May have messed with it. Right.
But anyway, and then I went back to like get my shit out of the car later, and I see the driver's seat that I was sitting in and that I'd also like leaned back into for no reason, and it's covered in scorched like triangles, which I assume are just shards of molten glass that like shot into the seat that I was in.
Yeah.
And you know, and blank check tie, and there's a Waking Life DVD on the ground that was
you don't want to lose that. That's a
that
good
was
movie.
that was like all like melted and burned. And so I'm just like, oh, I almost died in like the most gruesome, like horrific
like
way.
a Final Destination death.
Totally.
Yes.
And for months afterwards, I think this movie just depicts really well. Like I'd be in moments of total like peace and rest, like about to drift off to sleep. It would just be the smell and the heat, and I'm back in the car. And like really classic, like flashback PTSD. And then the other thing that would happen that they also do well is when I was just hanging out, whatever, with friends, it suddenly would be like, I can't be standing where I'm standing right now. And things that we all know as like a panic attack now. But I, at that time, was just like, there's something wrong that I'm going to solve through some external, I'm going to move over here, I'm going to do this, and nothing's going to solve it. Because this guy, even when he's staking out and like waiting, watching the brothel door, there's a restlessness inside of him.
Yes.
At rest, poking at his skin when he fucking punches the like guy who was late to give him his keys back, the parking attendant.
Yeah.
And you're just like, there's just something exploding out of him that he can't control, and he doesn't understand.
He almost sounds like he's about to cry when he punches the guy.
Which is, that's a sort of Phoenix special. I feel like he's really good at that.
Don't make me wait.
Right.
But it's like, he's like a little kid in that moment.
Yes,
He's like, you know, and he can fight back now. And it's just, but whatever, I went through that like very classic kind of PTSD thing. And I do think like this movie really puts you inside the head of like that kind of experience in a way that's like very visceral.
I think a big part of it.
Do we know why the car exploded?
So there was apparently an oil leak inside the car that had created a pool of oil on top of the catalytic converter,
which you don't want.
And the catalytic converter also was like running very, very hot. And I guess enough oil built up on there, and the converter was hot enough that it sparked a little fire inside the thing. And it's a grease fire. It's like an oil fire inside, and it just burned out like all the guts of like the hood of the car. So that's why then the brakes didn't work. et cetera, et cetera. But it was just, kind of a fluke thing. And one more detail that I'll never forget is then I'm sitting in a cop car, like waiting to for my parents to come and get me or something. And I kind of try to make a light joke and I point at the car that's exploded. And I go, tough morning. and the cop points at the line of traffic and he goes, well, thanks to you, it's a tough morning for a lot of people.
Jesus. It is weird that people just say shit like this to you all the time. I feel like this is a running theme in your life.
Maybe it's just you have a sort of face that invites people to be sarcastic at you. I don't know, man.
We Ben and I were in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. And Ben is like, I'm going to go out. There's like a 7-Eleven 3 blocks away and get some beer and some water and whatever, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting on the couch with Ben's wife. And Ben comes back 10 minutes later on the phone talking really effusively to someone, right? About and I just don't understand what motivates people. And I was just like, oh, someone very close to Ben in his life has called and is in a bad situation where something really bad happened to them interpersonally, and Ben is being a good friend and talking them through it. And instead, what I find out that is the inverse, that Ben called a friend to check in while he was on this 7-Eleven run, and then a guy made a mean joke to you, a bouncer outside a bar.
Yeah, he talked shit. And he was also such a fucking lame motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
He was wearing
those are the ones that'll do that.
He was wearing I'm trying to think of the dumb band t-shirt that he was wearing.
It wasn't Creed, but it was...
No, it's some SoCal shit-ass punk band, fucking Pennywise or something.
It was Pennywise. It was Pennywise.
And he was just I don't even remember exactly the comment, just something, because I guess I was, dressed weird, even though, again, I'm wearing the most normal clothes.
He said, nice hat, bro, or something like that.
Something like that, and I was just like, what, man? He was just like, you're just a cool-looking dude. Something like that, and just wanted to obviously... start some shit and had some friends standing nearby.
He wanted to ruin your night and you gave him just what he wanted.
Exactly. And then
unfortunately, that is I get a lot of people to just fuck with me. So I think you and I share
I do have that. I do for some reason.
Look at Mr. Guy with his shoes on.
Yeah.
You're just walking around, but people want to say
I
this
also
to you.
feel like your thing is that you make the self-deprecating joke and then someone very po-faced responds to you being like, it's actually worse than you think. You are so thoroughly the problem.
But I've invited
and
it
I need
always.
you to feel guilty.
I've opened the door
exactly.
They're like, anybody want to shit on me? And people are like, absolutely, we've been dying to.
I agree with you. Plus 100 minus humor.
It would have been me walking by that guy going oh, some hat I got on, huh? And he'd be like, it's not just the hat, man. It's your whole fucking thing.
But
hat's the least of your problem.
I hate your gait.
It's not even just what you're wearing. It's your personality and your fucking face.
Yeah. There's something really toxic just emanating from you.
Yeah, I definitely invite a lot of people to interact with me in a very aggressive way.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know. The two of you have that in common. I see it happen with Ben, and I'm always like, Ben, why are you so hair triggered with this? And that night you were just like, this has been happening my entire life.
Right.
Guys just say shit to me.
This does not happen to me at all. I truly think it's because I'm tall. Not that you guys are short, or I'm tall and broad or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are just like, well, I don't know what that guy will do. That guy might do something
when
weird.
People do this to me and it does piss me off, it's condescending.
Right. Hey, Buster.
Right. It's that. Sport, how's it going? My fucking dentist receptionist asking if they should send the bill to my mom. And then I'm like, Rrr.
So I just want to tell you that this film was picked up by Amazon for $3.5 million.
I'm now mad again.
They outbid A24, who had bid $2 million.
This is a point in time where
A24 is very fledgling, obviously.
Is on the rise. I mean, this
2016, so it's the year they're going to have Moonlight at the Oscars and all that. They're a thing, but they're smaller.
Because a year later, I feel like, regardless of what the financial offer is, they sell this movie to A24 because everyone knows A24 is the place that's going to be able to sell this the best.
Oh yeah, they're They're the Joaquin movie factory.
I think A24 would have been a better place for this movie, but obviously, I get you just sort of take the highest bidder. This is the year that Amazon has 5 movies at Cannes. The Handmaiden. So speaking of some other so Park Chan-wook's Handmaiden, Patterson, Jim Jarmusch, another in that kind of like established auteur that they're giving a check to. Gimme Danger. I don't really remember what that was.
I don't either.
The Neon Demon.
Yeah.
Where the Winding Refn movie.
Yeah.
And Cafes. Cafes
Society.
Oh, Gimme Danger was the Jim Jarmusch documentary about the Stooges, which is like very fun.
Yeah.
So Lynne Ramsay, she just FYI, she wrote this with Phoenix in mind. She'd never met him, but she was just like, no brainer, is just exactly who I imagined for this. Phoenix is probably unsurprisingly very into it. I mean, I feel like he's usually drawn to these kinds of directors, and this just does feel like the kind of role that would vibe with him.
They have been talking about reteaming for a while. There were sort of false reports that they had already shot something, but it seems like it's kind of perpetually her next movie. Die My Love got knocked up because of Lawrence being attached to Big Really Interesting.
Lawrence got knocked up, and that's sort of the story, huh?
Twice.
That's a good point. You can read all about it.
You can read all about it. Yes, she has said that she had such a good experience working with him when he is notoriously a very difficult man who tries to quit productions and is very at odds with directors.
But as someone who quit a production, maybe the two of them just are like, hey!
Exactly. I think he is a guy who thrives on tension and is fighting himself and is fighting the production and is questioning himself and is always trying to kind of like wiggle out. It feels, I think it's what he's relating to in this movie, not in the intensity of the work, but this guy who is like, I kind of hate what I do.
I mean, she sent him, this is so funny, an audio file, not visual file, like not a video, of fireworks. Just like, and she was like, this is what's in his head all the time.
Right.
And Joaquin Phoenix was like, yeah, I get that. Like, rather than Joaquin Phoenix being like, what? Like, Joaquin Phoenix is like, that really clicked for me.
They feel really simpatico. She just talked so glowingly of how little tension there was and how collaborative everything was. And then he like promoted this movie hard. It was a thing she called out where she was like, I know he hates this shit and he's loath to do it. And usually he's doing interviews with a gun to his head. And he was like going to like Angelica screenings opening weekend and doing Q&As and shit because he was like, I'm proud of this and I want people to see it.
He's incredible in it. To talk about, you mentioned that in the book his physicality is described a little more like traditional, like action hero-y.
This is a thing that you and I talk about a lot.
The way he uses his body in this movie, the like, first of all, he's got like a paunch, and like a very broad scarred back, and I genuinely think if he had been like shredded, he wouldn't be nearly as scary or powerful looking as he is in this movie. The one thing I love in the book is when he's describing his exercise routine, and he says that one thing he works on a lot is his grip strength,
handball,
because his favorite thing once he's in a fight is to break someone's fingers, because he's like, even the toughest guy in the world, when they look down and see their finger facing the wrong direction, it really gives them pause. Like,
and he's like, fighting is like a dance and you need to hold hands with your partner. It always ends up happening. You always end up holding hands with your partner. But he's like, the only exercise he does is like squeezing like handballs.
But I believe that from like the Joaquin version, it looks like that kind of powerful.
This is what's
like
interesting. It has that detail, and then it says like, but in spite of that being the only exercise he does, he's 190 pounds. He's got zero body fat, you know, whatever. And like, you and I always go like, this is one of the smartest physical transformations an actor has ever done, because it is counterintuitive, and so often it feels gimmicky. It feels like actors needing a place to put their energy, but then also kind of wanting the laudits from like, look at how much I took on, and what I put myself
need credit
through.
For like the preparation. It has to be visible to you how much I did to get ready.
And there's a vanity to it, even when the vanity is, look at how much less attractive I made myself or whatever it is. And this is just like really fucking logical story stuff in a movie where this guy's not going to talk much and where you need to just build up a sense of like who he is from every movement in a history. You're like, yeah, this is actually the scariest version of this guy. His strength isn't rippling muscles.
No, he just, he's just this solid mass
Right.
of person.
The way Ramsay puts it is like he shows up because they talk about it for the prep or whatever, and Joaquin is like, I do want him to feel big, but not like in this Hollywood body way, in this like midlife,
like a bear.
midlife way. And Ramsay's like, he looks like a maintenance worker. I was like so happy. I loved it. He wanted to keep the belly and like wanted her to show it. You know what I mean? Like he was like, can you show the belly as much as you can?
Yeah.
Lynne calls it like body armor. She says he's kind of like Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's kind of like Harvey Keitel in The Piano, this kind of like girthy guy, like who's just kind of like solid, as you guys are saying.
And he like looks like a guy sleeping in a train station. You know, he looks like he's like wearing.
He's not quite a full I'm crossing the street in New York guy, because there's a lot of guys in New York and you can kind of. But like I might keep like one eye on him if he was like
or not look at him.
Or not look at him.
You glance and go, okay, let me just not draw the attention of this person at all. We'll just I don't need to cross the street, but we're just gonna hopefully not exist to one another.
And one of those guys where you're like, is the threat to me or to him? You know, is this guy hair trigger in a way where he could like within 5 seconds turn and attack me, or am I about to watch someone have a mental breakdown?
Yeah.
There's something about how he walks that communicates danger.
Absolutely.
And I don't, it's so subtle and I don't know how, but it is just a thing
just
where
like,
we
this ain't
pick
right.
up on.
This ain't right. This guy ain't walking happy.
He's because he's walking with, he has a single purpose.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's just communicated through every like inch of the way he moves. And also after he becomes injured in the movie, and his face is fucked up, and the way that he talks, and also the way he holds the pain in his gait and in the way he moves through the other interactions of like, I am moving, I am wounded, but I am still driven, is like so fucking, again, like it's perfect. Like I feel it. I feel what he's feeling.
He's an actor who can do a lot. I feel like that's where you sometimes bounce off him, David, when you feel like he's overly mannered and manic and just kind of being weird for the sake of weird if he hasn't identified a realistic center. Is that what is your hesitation with him?
Let me talk if I'm gonna.
Please.
Because I'm trying to think like when was I getting really sick of him when I was sort of throwing out my hand. It was sort of Immigrant.
I feel like you were
Vice. Sort of post-Master
skeptical
era.
of the Master performance as well.
I mean, I really love that movie. Obviously, I think his performance is good, but it is.
I think about
so
that
busy
one
with stuff.
in juxtaposition to this one, where it's like there he looks pretty frail.
Yes.
He's sort of like crazy and also like violent, but he also feels like he's could be a victim at any moment too. Like he's sort of in this weird in between space, and then he's a completely different physical human.
He sure is. I mean, I don't like her. I don't think he's bad in that movie. I also have not seen that movie since 2013, so I don't
love
like
that film either, but I think he's good in it. But this is all the post I'm Still Here shit.
Well, yeah. Pre I'm Still Here, I think my take on Joaquin was like, he's like, he's like a sort of interesting star who puts a little English on it. Like, and I like the Signs performance.
Yeah.
I like the Village performance. Okay. I mean, that's the movie where the boys are kind of pretty heavily cooked.
What's the one?
I really love We on the
That's
Night.
the one where he also feels like that. He's like a sort of tough, big enforcer guy in that. He feels like so substantial.
And he kind of
can also feel
Wahlberg off the screen in that movie. Like Wahlberg's not like bad, but Wahlberg's pretty like kind of doing a standard thing in it, and Joaquin's pretty interesting.
James Gray, obviously one of the other guys he is just like completely in sync with. They get each other.
Yeah,
he's always.
When's the last time they worked together? I guess it's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, now he's
since
become,
The Immigrant. Yeah,
he really does. I know he's always been a handful, but he really does seem like he's become quite a handful.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him in Beau and Napoleon. I liked him a lot in Eddington.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really stand the Joker performances. They like.
No, I think
totally
the Joker
piss me
performance
off.
is the bad version of what we're talking about. It's like just trying to get him to do the tricks.
I didn't really like Come On, but that wasn't. I mean, he's fine. That felt like kind of Dime Store Phoenix to me, where he's just like, and I was just like, this is fine, but like, I'm not moved.
I think it's all just Joker lashback that you're feeling.
Well, I don't.
That
like
the Joker is so
Yeah.
embraced and so beloved by some of the worst people, and that what he is doing in that, as you said, is just like just a bag of tricks without substance underneath it. And it is some of his master physicality and some of his, you were never really here damage, and it's just this like, collection of parts that don't really work together.
Right, but it's a lot of acting. And I also think like it is very Todd Phillips is kind of exploiting him in that movie. Like it feels like he is pushing him to do things in scenes that do not dramatically make sense to show off the range of what he can do in a way that's just like, well, that's like an engaging 3 minutes of footage that makes this character make less sense than he did a scene ago.
Would you feel differently if I told you that he didn't think the Joker was very good?
I have heard similar things. I have heard quite a few stories.
Go ahead.
About him seeing the first cut of the movie, or rather, the near final cut of the film before it had been seen by people at large, and being like, well, we fucked this one up. I guess that's like dead in the water. And then it proceeds to win the Gold Lion, and he wins Best Actor at the Academy Awards.
Well, and
he was right the first time.
There was a bunch of media controversy around it.
Yes.
And I think he was like, that narrative is what's going to drive people to see it more than what it is.
Yeah. It's fascinating. But
I don't know, but
sure.
I'm speculating.
We're just speculating. I do like. I'm inclined to say this is his single best performance, and it is just
interesting.
She's, I think, really smart about knowing that he could do all of these things, but that the power comes from holding all of that back.
Yeah. Should we talk about his choice to use a hammer? And is this one of the greatest hammer violence performances of all time?
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to think about,
Old Boy is in
there.
Yes.
Home
Alone.
Sure.
The Raid 2.
Yeah.
The Hammer Girl on the train. Very impactful.
I'm trying to think, okay, like what else? Because like this, you can't even Google this really.
Hammer movies?
Because of course, Hammer horror sort of dominates here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a what culture list?
Movies where characters use a hammer.
All right, it's saying Ann Wilkes in Misery, but that's a sledgehammer, which feels very different to me. Because to me, like the fun is that it's a claw hammer or a ball hammer or whatever. Like that it's just like a regular ass hammer.
This is not a claw hammer in the movie.
Right.
I can't remember if it is in the book or not, but he does say he likes to use a hammer because it's sort of like a very normal, like daily household object to have. But when you see it in someone's hand in the context of a fight, all of a sudden, people take a moment of pause that it's like different than like holding out a knife or something. Where they're like, why the fuck do you have a hammer? And he's like, in that 1 second of hesitation, I can hit them with the hammer.
Right. There's this. There's this
a
notion.
gun is totally different.
I feel like it's expressed in the book. That
Drive has a big hammer sequence.
Yes.
Drive. Good one. That was. I knew there was another big one.
And another kind of close quarters hammer thing.
Yeah. And of course, Thor.
Of course.
I mean, Mjolnir itself.
Does Harley Quinn count?
Sledgehammer, I feel like once again is a
or same with like Ramona in Scott Pilgrim when she pulls out the big hammer.
Right.
Yeah, we're not talking about a buster.
It shouldn't be comic book.
Does Last Action Hero have Hammer? I forgot about Hammer.
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer is in it. It's one of his top kind of talkies, and we're talking feature-length films.
I mean, hammers are one of those objects that, yes, I have in my home where I'm like, should I be allowed to have this? Is crazy.
It's crazy. I feel like
I'm
like holding one while we're doing this episode, and I feel a little dangerous, a little on edge.
Like anytime, like the IKEA instructions, like, all right, now hammer some nails in. I'm like, well, I shouldn't be doing that. That should be like some sort of PhD should do this.
Leo and Django, although he uses that more like a demonstration, a threat of violence than attacking someone with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he explains in the book, it's everything is just like logic with this guy, right? How do you get it done in the cleanest, simplest, most unshowy way?
I love he keeps going to hardware stores and buying the same 3 items at like
yeah. And they call out basically that it's like a hammer hanging at a hardware store is going to have that paper sleeve around it that's used as the hanger tag. that he can grab. So the fingerprints are only on that. Then he gets in a car, puts gloves on, takes that off, and it's a clean weapon. And he's like, in terms of like...
And he gets a roll of duct tape, which he can use for multiple things, including like patching himself up when he gets hurt.
But like in terms of the work I do, an axe is maybe the most efficient in terms of getting shit done, but you can't hide an axe in a jacket, you know?
Yep.
And that there is that transformative aspect of the hammer of like, you're not immediately looking askance if a guy has a hammer until he's holding it in that way, that close to you.
And he's styled himself as a sort of contractor-y, construction worker looking guy where he always has on like, you know, sort of like Carhartt jacket, hood, low baseball cap.
It's one of my favorite moments in the movie is just that that extended shot of him unloading from a plastic bag just all his supplies. You know, like the wet wipes, the hammer, the 2 cans of soda, which is such a bizarre kind of like Lyft driver, do you want a water kind of move. Where
he gets an orange soda and a grape soda because he's about to rescue a young girl. And he's just like, I want to be able to offer her a soda.
Which you have to imagine is his routine. Like he's like, I need to earn their trust in some way in this moment after they've been victimized by so many men to let them feel a little bit safe. A soda would probably calm a kid down, but also the choice would help. That they feel like they have the agency of the flavor.
Yeah.
It's like such a nice little detail. And the banality of all of this, you know?
Yeah.
Of just like, he's just got a shitty shopping bag and it's just a bunch of like $3 products.
Yeah. I mean, it's all you need if you feel comfortable running at someone and hitting him in the head with a hammer, I guess.
Totally.
Almost anyone can be an assassin.
Yes.
If you think about it. I mean, what's some fucking state senator in an Epstein villa gonna do to you? He's just a naked asshole who doesn't, you know, right? Like
he's just a naked asshole. Yeah.
I remember when this film came out. So the film is about a guy called Joe who, rescues trafficked girls usually by hitting someone with a hammer.
He's an enforcer.
And then getting them.
Right.
Yes.
That a middleman hires sort of as a go-between security form.
It is very hard to imagine. It is completely implausible. You just kind of have to roll with it. It doesn't matter. Like
Well,
it's like
there's no way a guy like this
hiring
would
a
exist.
hitman or something, but it's like this is like a rescue guy.
Right. But I mean, like anyone like that who's like, I pick up trafficked girls. It's like you would immediately be killed by a mafia. Trafficked girls, like you're talking about people under the auspices of the scariest organized crime rings. Like, so it'd be like, there's a guy with a hammer who gets the girls. They'd be like, how about you shoot him with a shotgun until there's a hole inside his body? Like he'd be dead. Doesn't matter. Don't worry
I also think the movie is smart about being like, these are like small webs, not like a huge, large interconnected web of everything. They're people in power, but they're creating smaller circles.
So that's what I was going to say. So I saw this film. I loved it. But at the time, I was the junior critic at The Atlantic. And I was under Chris Orr, who was sort of an established veteran there, who was in D.C. And wrote a lot about politics, too. And I saw this movie and I loved it. And I was like, God, this fucking rocks. You know, I'd been in Canada. And he saw it and he was like, this movie is so, you know, it's like feeding into all the like Pizzagate shit about Hillary and all this kind of conspiratorial thinking and all that. And I was like, weird that I was kind of like, I didn't clock that at all. I mean, I guess I get what you mean, but like, I don't think that's what it's going for.
No.
But I guess I could see that, especially if you had like a real politics brain, like a kind of a DC brain.
Yeah.
You could look at this and be like, this is the last thing we should be depicting is this kind of, you know, nonsense about, there's child kidnapping
all the
rings
powerful,
out there that all the politicians
are
now it's 2025 or it's 2026 when this episode's coming out, and it's basically like that shit's all true, right? Not Pizzagate,
but
to
it
be
is
clear.
but
fascinating.
The Epstein list.
There
and
are
all that
webs
stuff.
of terrible conspiratorial things that people could very easily discuss now, and
I mean, what the Epstein arrest is 2008.
The original, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not. I am not someone who's.
I'm not saying this well. I want to create a tapestry.
But 2019 is, of
when
course,
these things become public conversations, right?
Yeah.
Because like Pizzagate basically rises with any force in 2016, which is the time they are shooting this movie.
Right.
The Epstein thing, of course, the whole thing that was so insidious about it was like out there and not discussed.
Yeah.
Not just that, these people were letting it happen kind of way, but truly like people would report on it, but just not with a lot of force. And a lot of that, of course, is like institutions killing this story, you know, like networks of connections and power and whatever. Gawker was one of the only publications, one of the only outlets that was like really reporting on like, this guy is being reintegrated into polite society in New York City. This guy just served a sentence and is now back to like cocktail parties. And this constant kind of drumming of like, why is no one talking about this? And then there was the one New York Magazine piece that has the famous Trump quote. Jeffrey enjoys his social life or whatever. All this stuff is out there, but it wasn't really like metastasized into the same kind of Dan Brown conspiracy theory game.
Yeah.
And is what I find so bizarre and like depressing and overwhelming about this cultural moment. It's not even that it's been turned into like a political football, but it's been turned into this odd narrativized force to try to create some new, almost like religious system of pure evil and pure good existing in the world. This notion of, is there a definitive like Santa Claus naughty list of everyone who is doing the worst of the worst things? And then we want to believe that there is a secret cabal of people who are just pure good trying to take this down.
Well, and you can see that obviously immediately after you learn that Malcolm Gladwell is on the flight logs for the Epstein plane,
right?
That there's got to be shades of gray here.
Of course. Well, he was just trying to get his hours in. He has to know. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. He's got to know.
You're making some little editing points here, Benny.
No, I'm giving a thumbs up.
Yeah.
To Malcolm Gladwell, your favorite writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Do you remember?
I mean, 10,000 hours.
Have we ever?
He's my favorite podcaster.
Right,
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah,
An
important correction.
Sean, have you and I ever discussed in person a thing I'm sure you've thought about, which is when Malcolm Gladwell went on the Simmons podcast, Bill Simmons' podcast, and talked about how like Nigerian players specifically were like the most important basketball players.
He was making the like all African-born player team, and I think he included Steve Nash.
He said correct. He said, so I'm putting together a team that's Team Nigeria, and Bill Simmons is like, okay, and he's like, so Hakeem, and Bill's like, yeah, Hakeem, right, absolutely, and he's like, caveat, Tim Duncan. Bill's like, well, isn't he from the Caribbean? He's like, yeah, but like I've done some like racial math, and he sort of descends from
he's
Nigeria.
Like, yeah, so all those island countries are actually direct descendants.
And then he's like, Steve Nash, and Bill's like, isn't he Canadian? He's like, yeah, but he was like born in South Africa, and that kind of counts too. And it is one of the rarest, like where Bill Simmons clearly is just at a loss for words. Bill does not know what to say.
Bill
kind of just lets him, quote unquote, cook for a while.
The king of going on like pretty stupid theoretical tangents related to basketball is like
fun.
It's just like, truly, I can't get there with you. Just go off, and then we'll do the show when you're done.
In Malcolm Gladwell's defense, he was just trying to log his 10,000 hours towards being a fucking moron. He needed to keep saying dumb shit into microphones.
Not important to this episode, obviously. And I'm not saying that all conspiracies are true. And certainly that maniac who went into a pizza place with a gun was not on the level and had been misled. But I am just sort of like, this movie only feels, whatever. It continues to feel resonant.
Yes, I think the way, unfortunately, the culture has progressed since this movie has only made this movie better in this way to me. I was tempted. I couldn't fucking get myself to do it. I was tempted to watch Sound of Freedom in prep for this episode as a comparison point. And then I had the oh Jesus moment as I was like queuing it up of like, am I really gonna fucking sit through
Especially because it's like, we don't really need to talk about that for more than a minute anyway. Like, you don't need to devote all that time to it.
No, but I just like, I wasn't surprised that this movie didn't become a film that like church groups were sending to the theaters, right?
Right.
But it was so weird to me when Sound of Freedom became this like weird, vaguely money laundering box office phenomenon based on like, finally someone is saying it, right?
Yeah.
And even the guy that movie is based on who's been discredited in a bunch of fucking ways, and the director and everyone involved is like, yeah, like vague jumping off point, and then we created like a revenge thriller, that tried to have like a human heart at the center of it.
Right.
But this is like a movie about Jesus going in and just fixing all the problems. And the great Bill Camp is, Mr. Burns and going like, I love kids suffering.
Right.
And this movie is just like, well, first of all, the guy who lives in this world is going to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
And as in the excerpt I read from the book, like, even if he's coming from a pure place, there is something narcissistic about thinking that you need to do this, even if it is speaking to no one else is doing this or someone needs to do this. And why not me?
Yeah, and I do. Obviously, it's all it's fictional, and it's a pretty easy like line to draw of like, well, the people doing this are people in positions of power, and like so a senator and a governor and all like these people being involved, and that being tied into some kind of like weird organized crime thing makes sense. But I also do wonder, as we talk about Jonathan Ames and his history and his fascination in his early essays and stuff with like sex work and off the grid like weird like fetish personal ads and stuff like this.
Yes.
If some of this is like he has heard some element of this is how some of this world operates, and then I'm making it into this like crime movie thing.
Right.
But that it's not, it's not just plucked from thin air.
And once again, there is like a banality to it. I like it's just a fucking like townhouse in East Midtown, with 5 rooms, and it does feel like this is a very tight web, even if it's connected to some other tendrils. And the core kind of drama of this is like basically between 2 guys. Yeah. And what feels like some arm of some regional mafia in between them.
As you said, it's a pretty simple story. Like, Joe has this handler played by John Doman, who's a great actor. I love him from The Wire and a million other things.
He's got like an even in-between bodega guy who guy talks
Moises is kind of the go-between.
Whose son spots him and he freaks out and is just living in this constant state of paranoia. So he's now going straight to the guy who he's not really supposed to communicate to in person.
It's just bad. It's very bad timing.
Yes.
He's entering his home through the back alleyway, which is the only way he goes into his house. And he looks up and he sees this kid on a balcony who knows who he is. And he says, now this person who knows who I am knows where I live.
Yeah.
Which means someone could torture him and find out where I live.
Right. It's all vulnerability is how he runs through everything. In the book, the John Doman character is not sleazier, but more kind of sad sacky, is, in a like cramped office next to like injury lawyers and is, a perpetual bachelor and whatever.
Right.
And this is like, there's the illusion. I mean, he's like referencing his dead daughter, right? He's got the picture on his mantle. This is a guy who's experienced some tragedy in his own life.
Maybe he's directing himself
that is motivating. I want to.
Sure.
But he's also in like a very nice office with a great view and a model of a yacht that he owns. And he's saying to like Joe, like, hey, and on the other side of this, I'm going to take you on the yacht. We're going to see the fireworks and eat nice steaks. Where he's almost like, even if we're driven by a good, the work we do is so bad that the other benefit of it is they have to pay us so much to do it that shouldn't we enjoy that?
Yeah, we have to have some kind of reward.
Totally.
And that's in the book as well. There's this very clear thing of like, this guy wants to be friends with Joe.
Right.
Like he's like, we are both in this sort of off the grid world.
We never hang out outside of work.
And I just wish, like I just see you for this thing, but like, can we just have a fucking beer together, man? And Joe, in the movie, Joe's literally not listening.
Squeezing jelly beans.
I was going to say, he doesn't strike me as a eat steak kind of guy. I don't know. What does Joe eat?
Jelly beans, the green ones.
Okay, but like, where's he getting his protein?
Like junk food. Yeah.
Right.
Like chips and
Right.
pretzels. Gas station food.
And as we said, he's got this
and then
house
he just
with his
does
mom.
200 squeezes, and then the tummy hardens again or whatever.
He lives with his mom in his childhood home.
Yes.
She's in pretty advanced stages of dementia. Yes. She's kind of lashing out at him all the time and misremembering things.
Judith Roberts.
Who's so good.
Who's really good. I think of her, she's in Eraserhead.
She is in Eraserhead. She's the pretty woman down the hall.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's in a bunch of other stuff, but she's really good.
Yeah. And he has this almost like, it almost feels like there's a like an Abbott and Costello comedy dynamic to them.
They've got some like old, like songs that they used to do when they were kids, which by the way, I mean, as you said, she has dementia. And so like, I think part of that is probably intentional. Like I know my grandfather who had Parkinson's and dementia came to live with us for a while.
Yeah.
And it was that thing that somebody told me, like, he won't know what he had for breakfast this morning.
Right.
But if you ask him about something from 30 or 40 years ago, their long-term memories intact.
That would still work.
So it feels like they're engaging in these sort of playful conversational activities they did as when he was a kid.
They're routines.
And that is still like fresh for her, and she's able to like stay with it. You know?
And even when when he's dealing with the exasperation of her having lapses of things like running the bath and whatever, he's kind of like yelling at her in a comical way. You know, he's like kind of like angry sitcom.
Yeah, there's the darkest little strain of comedy to it.
Yes.
Even though you are the whole time you're like, oh, this is gonna end in some fucked up way, which it does.
But it is the driving.
There's water all over the floor. What were you doing in here? Oh, forget it. You know,
this is a guy whose entire life was animated by not being able to protect his mother when he was young.
Yes.
And now is like, she cannot take care of herself. The reason I need to stay alive is because she at least deserves this, right? And he's constantly just like suicidal ideation, but also like the little bits of him like holding the knife over his open mouth.
That's played for comedy when he keeps when he keeps dropping the knife
on his foot,
but just pulling his foot away just in time, which is like dual like staying sharp because I'm always like in a situation where somebody might try to kill me, and I also want to hurt myself.
Right. I would like the release from the pain. And she's asking him about his ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago and how she would have been a good mother. And you're like, that must have been the last relationship he ever had.
I think Joe be a good dad. I think he should,
Well, the movie kind of gets there.
Well, I don't think that's going to work that way. But yes, I mean, you're right.
I don't think it's as cut and dry.
I'll put it this way. I'm a parent, right?
You
I'm
are.
a parent.
Congrats.
Right? And in my parenting strategy, definitely I have no time for garbage bag closet experience, you know, like
he might be kicking that habit by the end of the movie.
I can't, you know, be like, all right, hey, I need 20 minutes. I got to put the plastic bag over my head. And
he might be kicking that habit.
I hope he is.
The other thing is at the end, we'll get to the ending. We'll get to the ending because I find the ending very emotionally powerful.
It is. It's very powerful.
But yes, he gets drawn into this thing. There is a senator who is kind of being tapped as maybe a future power player. His wife committed suicide some years back.
Right.
There's sort of this tragedy surrounding him, and his young teenage daughter has gone missing.
Yes.
The book gets much more into the web of the narrative of how it happened, how much of that was false and whatever. But it really is just, she's been gone for a weekend. I need you to find her. And
in the movie, it's like he has just gotten a text message from someone who says she is at this address.
Right.
In the book, it goes much more into like the text message is clearly from someone he knows who has just gone to a brothel and asked for an underage girl and you know, presumably slept with his daughter and now feels guilty about it. So that's like much more this is like just kind of thrown away as like he got a text message with an address and there's no other details and you got to go to this address.
Yeah, and the book has this very sobering, disturbing passage about the kind of pragmatic reality of this type of thing existing. Of just like there are 700,000 millionaires in New York City.
Sure.
And then if you add other like hubs in the Northeast, it goes up to this. And if even 1% of the people with that level of money had a predilection towards this, there's a lucrative business to be built around it, even if the business isn't $1 billion empire.
It does feel crazy that a politician's daughter would be kidnapped, though. Does the book explain this?
Yes.
Like versus like some person trafficked from another country or whatever. Like, why would that be?
So the book basically is the backstory is that this guy, his father was a powerful politician who was then disgraced for all these ties that he had to the mafia.
Right.
And like arraigned, but the name was still beloved in the city. Right. And so then he's going to run on his dad's name. He decides that he wants the power. He goes to the same like mafia group that help put his dad in power and says like, I want this. And they say to him, you've got to give us something. And basically like, you can be the most powerful person in the state if we have your daughter.
It's all right.
It's like
sort of an old fashioned pulpiness thing.
But it's like a very like, he's so craven and hungry for power. And he's got this like, this terrible relationship with his teenage daughter and just kind of goes like he thinks the book says he thinks in the moment that they're trying to make sure that he really wants to go all the way with them and that it's just a bluff on their part. And he goes, fine, I'll do it. Like I'm in. And then when they actually take his daughter, he's like, no. Like I thought that was like gamesmanship.
Right.
And then he can't find her.
Sure. So Joe's got to find
extreme
her.
Faustian bargain.
Again, that's not all of that is just deep background. I feel like in this,
it's
movie,
not even part of the
basically.
story.
I was gonna say my read
I
in
don't
the
think it's the
movie
same
is
story here.
different. I think she's changed. I mean, there's like when Joe is having his version of putting the pieces together. There's the flash of the father sitting in the bed with the daughter with her back turned, and it feels like there's some implication that perhaps there was some like incest within the home. That this is connected to the wife committing suicide.
Right. It's that because of course the main evil pedophile is Alessandro Nivola, who's like the governor.
Yes.
But you get the impression that the state senator Guy Votto,
right,
who
he's beholden to the governor,
was also in this world, and right, it was. Yeah.
What it feels to me like is at some point he willingly gave his daughter to this man. And then in exchange for feeling that like, that was how to
climb the ladder or whatever.
A secret is a wonderful thing to keep thing, but also that perhaps if there already was an unhealthy relationship in that, and there was a sense that she was
damaged goods, because he already had this incestuous thing.
The book goes into the horrific value of the idea of a child that has successfully been Stockholmed and how you kind of like neutralize them to be willing to
actually,
but I think that's sort of what's going on here is he comes across this girl who you're from things like Taken and such expecting to see be like a crying mess, and you're like, no, there is a numbness to the degree of trauma.
She's got this like countdown thing that she does to just like sort of exist through these moments.
The most heartbreaking moment in the movie is him coming across her and she just like can't even clock that someone is there to save her.
Yeah.
Because she's just in countdown mode, which is how she passes the time as these things happen.
But also every man is not to be trusted, essentially.
David, have you because you have to watch all these movies for your job. I find that like as we're talking about like this Lynne Ramsay series, and I always had intended to watch We Need to Talk About Kevin. And then once I became a parent, I said, I don't think I can watch it. I don't want to think about it.
You actually don't want to talk about Kevin.
Do you
I just kind of have to
a
suck
transformation?
It up. Yes. And there's certain things where I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch that, but I know I have to for my job.
We did Park Chan-wook when your daughter was like 2, and you were very open about that being a particularly tough one for you because that has a lot of...
That is little kids screaming and being tortured and stuff. That's the most extreme thing.
Yeah.
I'll confess, not watched our friend Alex's segment in VHS Halloween because I'm told that is like literally just all kid torture, which I know I appreciate what he's going for and all that, but still I'm just kind of like, not sure I want to do that right now. But I'll watch a movie like Hamnet because I love ham, I love nets,
of course,
and I know like this is about like this movie is like the crux of this movie is a kid dying, and not just like dying off screen in some like kind of poetic way, but like a kid like suffers and dies on screen. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to kind of endure that. Like, I know I won't love that.
It's glaring to me how much prestige TV drama, etc., is all hinges on like a kid's been killed.
Yeah.
And I don't think I saw it before.
This is something me and my wife run into a lot.
And how many movies that I enjoyed, and I do, obviously, I like this movie. I think it's very good. But how many movies, even in this genre, that I enjoyed and used to think were cool and Park Chan-wook stuff like that I now am so uncomfortable with and can't watch. And I, people are whatever about this, but I have a theory that I developed while I was watching this and thinking about We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is, of course, there are movies where someone's wife gets killed or someone's, other loved ones disappear. But with adult relationships, both the character in the movie and whoever like your partner is in your life have such a distinct identity that I don't think it transfers the same way as kids are always used as just like a symbol where they don't really have a personality.
Yeah.
And your own kid is always like unformed in this way where it's like, even if it's totally different circumstances and like a totally different like world than you're in, you cannot help but think about what if this was my kid?
Yeah,
and you can't not do it.
There's some side of you that's absolutely right.
It's really,
I do try to just like click on Critic Brain, and Critic Brain loves this movie. And this is not a movie that's as triggering for me, I guess, because it's so stylized and
and the
somewhat
part of the world is like
implausible.
Even just the thing of like the story is like this guy was voluntarily involved in this thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's not like a normal person who something horrible happened to them.
This
it's
is
like
a horrible
person
situation of his own making of the most extreme Faustian bargain.
It's an evil person who was making really bad choices.
I also think it's like the power of this movie, which is its restraint in showing things and even saying things is, I think, largely driven by there's no way to depict these things realistically, emotionally, visually, what have you, without insane risk of being insensitive, glib, melodramatic, salacious, all of the above at once, you know? And even a movie like Taxi Driver, which this is like a little bit analogous to, is all about like, is this guy insane? Is this in his head? You know, the question of like, how much you connect to whoever is the protagonist of a film and all these sorts of things. And yet it's a movie that was like misread horribly by the wrong people. I'm not talking about cultural responsibility.
But like,
you know what I'm saying.
Unfair.
Right. And I think
tag to
this
throw
movie in how it like pulls back from both the violence and the sex as the physical acts, and even like really talking around them and putting a name on it.
There's nothing really super graphic in it for how violent and and tawdry
in this movie,
the story is.
There's nothing super graphic sexually. It's all left to you, which
he pulls
is
his
super,
tooth out.
super
He pulls his
upsetting.
own tooth out.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, the iconic image of this. There's many iconic images of this movie, but and in the plot of the movie, he rescues Nina from a hotel or whatever.
Oh,
and
the
brings her
piggyback
home.
ride.
Right, but then him opening the door to the guy who then gets shot onto him.
They
like,
led someone to him.
And just the globs that land on Phoenix's face.
Right.
Just the big old bloody globs.
The guy behind him.
I take it back.
I low-key love. Like, I love
Yeah.
that kind of gore, unfortunately.
Sure.
I don't know what's the matter with me on that, but I mean, I'm a movie fan and I enjoy, movie violence in a way.
But like, I feel like
obviously enjoy real
every
violence.
other moment of violence in the movie is either fairly obscured, like the security camera rotation, which I just love that it's like a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's thing where it's like, it's just going to switch every 3 seconds and you might be on the action or you might not.
Yeah.
Or you're very often seeing the aftermath. Like the goriest things are like him walking into the James Doman's office and like seeing his destroyed hands, And you're holding
those hands are tough.
Gnarly prosthetic for a while. Alessandro Nivola's like slit throat, discovering his mother's
mom's
body.
eye.
But you don't see the violence being committed.
No, but the corpses are nasty.
But it is a reframing of like, no, you have to like lie with the aftermath of these things versus these movies that often have this kind of like somewhat exciting expression of violence. And then you cut away the second the bloody thing happens. What if instead it's like you start on the reveal of the bloody thing and then he's just lying on the floor next to this?
He's piecing it back together. Can I tell another very quick story?
Please.
Did you guys hear the story about the big giant dog that we found, the Malamute that was running around the neighborhood?
No.
So we found this Malamute running around the neighborhood, and my wife and I bring it home.
That's like an Alaskan husky kind of
it's like a 9,500-pound dog, big giant husky. And we're trying to find the owner, and we track down the owner finally, and it's this guy in the neighborhood, much older, like sort of frail older guy. And he comes to pick up the dog. It's this huge dog. And we're like, what's going on? Like, how do you have this dog? Why was the dog loose? And he's like, my son just rescued, my dog died 2 years ago. My son just dropped this dog off at my door and was like, you have a dog now, Dad, and then left. And my wife is like concerned about the man and the dog and, can you take care of him? And she's like, so can you control this dog? Like, are you able to walk it on a leash? Because I was getting dragged down the street by it, and I'm famously strong. And as he's answering, he's like, well, not really. And a cat runs by, and the dog lunges, and the guy falls. And he smashes against the ground, and he breaks his glasses, and he has a cut on his head, and he goes to push himself up to stand up. And both he and I see at the same time that 2 of his fingers are pointed just 45-degree angles in opposite directions. And it's one of the most chilling, gruesome things I've ever seen. But I think about it with
old guy.
Both that guy tortured and the how he says breaking someone's fingers in a fight. I was something about this. It's not there's no bone sticking out. There's no blood. There's no anything. It was just the joints are facing the wrong way.
This is wrong.
And it's and he looks at it and I look at it and we're just I was like, that's very bad. And then we really tried to get him to go to the hospital.
And then he said, brother, it's so much worse than you think.
he was, dude.
And you're the problem.
I know. No, he was just we we called the ambulance for him and he kept telling us not to. And then he insisted on driving himself. And the ambulance people were like, we can't force him. He said he's going to a hospital. He told us the address of the hospital. I guess he's going to go.
That's another part of this is these movies often have these kind of rigged prosthetics, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That you see for an
part of what you
explosive
enjoy.
1 second shot.
As a movie fan, like watching how those things work.
But you even think about like you see half a second of fucking Emilio Estevez's head getting crushed in the elevator shaft in the first Mission Impossible. And I feel like that is a thing. People our age are like, that's one of the fucking that haunted me as a kid, right? And it's crazy. And if you watch it frame by frame, it is crazy, but it's not that graphic or visceral. And you don't have to sit with the aftermath of it.
No.
And by cutting to these things, either him discovering the bodies in these states or seeing the people after Joe has attacked them without seeing them attacked, you're left with the lingering image of what's going to stay in his head. That's sort of what I think she's communicating so well. So like you're saying, you see a guy's fingers look like that, you're going to have that image in your head for the rest of your fucking life.
It's true.
And that's not something you did to this guy. And that's not something that was done to one of your ultimate loved ones. And this guy has to experience both of those things happening all the fucking time.
Yeah, and it's something you saw and you're like, okay, that could happen. That could happen to me. I've seen it happen to someone.
Yeah.
And you're just walking around with it for a while. And yeah, he has a million of them. The thing with his mom, like, and they have the scene where he like goes to like dispose of the body himself too. But in the book that they don't explicitly say here, but that they put a pillow over her head before they shoot her.
You see a pillow with a bullet hole in it. Yeah.
And that he, in the book, is like, basically is obviously very upset that they killed his mom, but is also like, they're cowards. Like, they couldn't look at what they were doing.
They didn't want to look at it.
Right. That's almost more offensive to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you have this, like, a moment I think only Lynne Ramsay would put in a film, where he like discovers the body, sees the pillow, takes it off, blurry, deep background. You see him removing everything, her glasses that they clearly shot through, putting it on the mantle. You see her like bloody head in the background, but not too explicitly. And then he hears the creaking of footsteps. And he like has the gun, he goes downstairs. It's, did you do this or did the other guy do it? You know, he's immediately like, this would have taken 2 people. Who's the other guy? Are you working for him? Is he working for you? He's sort of interrogating him, but then the intimacy of him like giving him the water to keep him alive so he can get more answers out of him also is like, this is a man who was trained to do this.
And then that guy, and the guy taking his hand as he's dying.
And then they just lie on the floor together and sing the songs on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, I live with the weight of taking people's lives in a way that you don't, because you wouldn't even look at her fucking face and you left her upstairs. And I'm going to lie here with you because no matter what, I'm stuck with the image of you dying forever for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah.
You know? And then he has this kind of like elegiac like funeral for his mother.
Yeah.
Like he puts on a suit. It's the only time he dresses nicely in the entire film and like brings her in the woods into the water. Johnny Greenwood's score in this movie is fucking unbelievable.
The music,
I used to listen to it a lot.
I listened to it a lot.
I would sort of be like, this isn't the best, like kind of just sitting at your desk music.
But there are the trees tracks.
There's like, those are really good.
What is it? Like tree synthesizer and tree acoustic and whatever that are the more kind of like
it
poetic
opens
sounding
with
ones.
Like, this beautiful like ephemeral sound. Like, and then there's also like that sort of like percussive thing when he's like walking down the hallway like out of the hotel. That's just like, it's so fucking cool.
We should also call out, it's basically like an hour of the movie is like understanding this guy, watching him go through this case, retrieve her. He brings her to the hotel before the door gets knocked on and he sees the guy get shot and this like SWAT cosplaying guy comes in and extracts her. They see on the news that her father committed suicide. And Joe's immediately like, this whole thing is kind of,
this is bad. I'm in something bad.
I'm in something I don't understand.
I'm in over my head. I did not just get hired by this guy to recover. He's in the middle of something much bigger than
I mean, the fact that the cops are involved.
Like, they're not SWAT cosplay, right? They're cops.
They're cops. They're like cops in the
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
That was like because in the book again, like he goes to this thing of like, they didn't have time to hire professionals, like professional hitmen to come and kill him, but there's always some dirty cop in town that they can just like have come do the job.
Yeah, and it's, by the way, a smart choice that in the book, I feel like the father is made a little more overtly nervous, defensive, on edge, sleazy. And here it's like a guy with a tremendous amount of contrition and concern that as it unfolds, you're like, oh, a lot of this is guilt. It's not just worry.
Yes.
It's both, right? But he's sort of like trying to console her in this moment as he's realized like her entire life has just collapsed. I just hit the microphone with a hammer by accident.
That was fucking
as
scary,
I was adjusting my
That
levels.
really scared me.
The microphone needs to know the power structure of this podcast. I just needed to know its place.
I don't know.
That
Let's
was
not do that
very
again.
Scary to me.
He's like immediately clocking like there is no normal life for her to return to. And I don't know how to keep her safe. And then within like a minute, she is taken. And then he goes home and his mother is dead.
Everything, just a death wave is rolled across
There's
everyone
this
he knows.
complete collapse of like, I might basically by default be her primary caretaker. And also my entire life has collapsed. And they know everything about me and they know where I am.
No offense to his life. But his life was shitty. I mean,
His
it
life
didn't take a
sucks.
lot of work to blow up his life.
In any other circumstance, if he had come home and if he had come home and his mother
I have a Patreon. I can't be judging Joe the assassin.
His Patreon numbers are really bad. If you look him up on Graph,
that was the saddest part to me.
Yes.
Yeah, was seeing him go to check his
when
Patreon.
he checks his
double digits, low double digits.
Yeah,
and the tears are really vague, where you're just like,
too many tears.
Too many tears, and you're sort of like, if I come up with something fun, I might put this here.
And they're redundant. Like some of it is like, well, what is the reason for this tier existing when you get like basically 90% of that in the next tier?
You always have that luxury tier that's like, for $100, it's all the same things as the $50 tier, but you give me more money, wink. You know, kind of. Yeah.
I just love it when there's 9 tiers. And you get to the 9th tier, and it's like everything in the last 8 tiers. And I'm like, I have to go back and read every other tier?
Paste,
give me the bullet points.
Come on, give me the bullet points.
Come on, Joe.
You can tighten the language on each tier, but just remind me, speed run them. No, I think if he had come home and his mother had died in her sleep a day earlier, he would have just killed himself, right? But it's the double whammy of...
There's a person out there that I'm responsible for. I'm the only one who knows this person is in danger. I could go and help. And they make that clear. Like he has a flashback to her. He's like, okay, I guess I'm done. And then he's like, nah, fuck, I have a job still.
Here's a guy who's defined by the fact that no one was able to keep him safe, you know, in his childhood. And he doesn't want that cycle to continue as much as he's not like, maybe this is a chance to test being a dad. He does fall into this. I'm the only person who can solve this, and I actually just feel enough of an attachment to her as a person that I can't just turn a blind eye to this. And then you have what in 99 out of 100 other movies feels like the ramp up to, oh shit, the next 40 minutes we're going to get the most cathartic. He takes them all down.
Yeah.
And he goes there and it's over.
Well, yeah, it's like another kind of security cam thing where like you just see him take out the like guard on the way in, but you kind of are just seeing like the like lawn footage of like, okay, that guy's down, and then goes in, and then the person who he came to have his big confrontation with that is going to be so satisfying is already dead.
Alessandro Nivola, who's like the only other recognizable major name actor in this movie, who you're like, oh shit, he's the big bad. We're going to get some awesome fucking monologue, and then like Joaquin's going to take him down. Doesn't have a line in this film.
He sure doesn't.
Like, doesn't speak. You need a guy who's that much of a that guy to have the sense of power he holds and to have him stick in your brain. But then he gets there and there's no fucking resolution for him, right? No. She has just killed him in self-defense.
Right. Yeah. It's all incredible to sort of piece together as a viewer.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yes. It's really, and it's disorienting in a great way. You're in his head where it's like, this guy's dead? Like,
I don't get to do, like, you know, my revenge, right?
And then he goes downstairs, and then she's sitting at the table. Her hands are all bloody, and she's just like finishing a dinner that was just on the table, like eating.
Yes.
It's so
And he's like
grim.
taking his shirt off when he gets in there. He's Bert Kreischer mode. He's like, you're ready for like him to go like fucking warrior mode on these people.
Yeah.
And then
mode,
instead,
please.
it's just like he's got this fucking swollen cheek, right? He's kind of just
Oh,
like
yeah.
stumbling around. And when he sees the body, there's the first like, well, why was this taken away from me? Immediately
He
followed.
weeps. Yeah.
'Cause the
He's like, he's like cries for himself that he's not going to get like the release. I think.
can't complete this arc for
Even
myself,
this,
give myself
yeah.
closure. And I think the additional thing is he very quickly does the math of she did this in self-defense.
And now she lives with having killed someone.
And I hate that.
And I should have been the one to
I
kill
hate
someone,
that
so
I
she wouldn't have
couldn't
to.
Save
stop
her from that, sure.
from doing this.
Yeah.
And she's downstairs trying to just like be normal, eat dinner while covered in blood with a switchblade knife next to her, or like a shaving razor.
Straight razor.
A straight razor. And she's shaking. It's like the first time in the movie where you see her having the physical effects of trauma rather than just kind of going blank
Being
and
numb,
numb.
yeah.
And it is this like moment that ties the two of them together of like, oh fuck. You know, it's almost like, oh, you got bitten by a vampire too.
Yeah, no, yeah. You've got the same virus that I do.
Exactly. We're living with the same thing.
And then she says, "It's okay, Joe," right?
In the diner.
Oh, it's later in the diner.
It's so they go to the diner because I mean, who doesn't want to go to the diner after all this to get some pancakes or whatever? And
Right.
he
You have like
imagines
40s, 50s pop music
Right.
playing.
he imagines shooting himself, which just like instant Twitter meme.
Yeah.
But right, like that's become like this kind of like jokey like way of people like. The fucking Mets lose and someone just posts Joaquin suiciding in a diner.
But also, it is like in this way that Lynne Ramsay can take very literal things from books and express them like into a mood that doesn't turn it into a plot point or like an overt statement about the movie. It is like this is the visualization of the line of thinking of "you were never really here" that isn't even said in the film. There's no internal monologue. There's no him whispering that to himself, where his fantasy is, if I saved her, my mom is dead, can I just fucking shoot myself? And if I shot myself in the middle of this diner, would everyone act like I never even existed?
Yeah, all the conversations continue at the same volume. Like no one has any reaction to the fact that he just shot himself. He doesn't matter.
The first time I saw this, I for a second thought it was real, right? And then it's a fantasy when the waitress is still serving and making small talk
because of
with
the
blood
conversation.
spattered
Yeah,
on her
that's
face.
what gives
No
it
one
away.
reacts.
That no one fucking reacts, and then she comes back to the table, and he's just resting his head on the table in the same position as if he had shot himself. And she says, "It's okay, Joe, it's okay." And for the first time, you're like, she has grown up, right? There's obviously like her childhood has completely been taken from her. But rather than like existing in a self-punishing state, she is reaching out because she understands him for the first time. And even if it is not like an obvious father-daughter relationship, they are two people who are maybe going to give each other a reason to like stay alive because they share a horrible language that can maybe help each other work through this. And I think the moment of outreach, which is like the first and only time in this movie that you see anyone try to do anything to help him emotionally coming from her, is like so profound and emotionally overwhelming to me.
Yeah. Well, and he's this guy who has, really wants to stop existing.
Yeah.
Sure.
But has this core inherent singular sense of duty that he can't put to the side, and then her coming to him and being like, "Wake up, Joe," like is like
it's a beautiful day.
You've got
it's a beautiful day.
You still have something.
The thing that he feels like he has to live for, or at least that he forces himself to live for, is a guilt and a burden and an obligation. And part of his mother being senile is that when he's trying to take care of her, she yells at him, right? And that everything's a fight, that he can't even get the satisfaction of
the appreciation,
of helping his mother in her old age and having some emotional closure on that. So everything is just like a fucking weight on him. And this is like the first time someone is just saying to him kind of like, I see you, I know it's tough. It's another day, You just have to.
It's a beautiful day. That was the title it was released under in some countries.
It is called that in some countries.
Just keep
it's
living.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just keep living. I very much support that. I don't support some of the actions in this film, though.
Which ones?
Well, I think he's a little hard on these guys. Maybe like, marketplace of ideas
Right,
first
just
and foremost.
discuss. Hear them out.
No, it's
It's a huge bummer of a movie. High recommend.
The best.
But like, okay,
But
is
there's
a
something
huge
about
bummer.
it.
It's about things that are incredibly sensitive and tough. So like if anyone ever said to me like, I just don't want to watch that, I would be like,
I've never pushed
Yeah,
back.
for sure.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
At the same time, I find, and it's also light on plot, basically has very little dialogue, and is a little inscrutable for a while. Like it's not like a movie where you're like, oh, I totally get what's happening. I still think it's basically just like kind of super watchable.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
I know that's
no, it is.
It is a very pulpy sort of like classic story, but then because it is
with
inscrutable, because it's
inflection, right,
intentionally disorienting in spots, and you're piecing it together, it does feel like an elevated version of that kind of thing, and I love that kind of thing.
There's no way. Like I'm not like, I mean, it made like $9 or $10 million worldwide. I think it made a little bit of money.
Yeah,
it's not a movie where I'm like, I can't believe that wasn't discovered on a big scale. It's like, no, that's a 10%er.
It got a bunch of Indie Spirit nominations. It got British Independent Film nominations. It won Screenplay and Actor at Cannes, even though it was then dramatically recut after that.
But that's her. She's always does that.
Yeah.
Like her movies are debut at Cannes, and then she's like, they ain't done, by the way. Like,
but it got a rapturous response.
Cannes pretty friendly to her, and he won Best Actor there. It's true. Like, and he's I mean, I do think it's a major movie in his oeuvre, even if it's not much discussed now. Like,
in a weird way, it's the totality of the 2018 and the range of it then like makes Joker, which is such an obvious dumb showpiece, have everyone go like, yeah, I guess it's time to just give him the fucking Oscar.
He has Cannes and Venice. He doesn't have Berlin. I'm always interested to know. I need to like do a project on this sometime.
Who has the Triple Crown?
Of like people who have gotten best, because you can do it with like who's won the top prize. At
Venice
those
gave him Best
festivals.
Actor for Joker?
No, for The Master.
Oh,
with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Much better. They shared it. Okay.
Yeah, they gave Joker the Golden Lion, which is interesting because it's a dog shit movie.
Yeah, it's quite bad.
But it's just like, those kinds of rare actors who do a lot of movies that would get to festivals and then get, it's just a rare thing.
Here's my other thing I want to say about this movie is that like the thing I find gross about the politicizing and the narrativizing of the ideas
go off, Griffin.
of these types of things is that very often it is based in this like, I want to see like vengeance executed. I want to see all these guys taken down. I want someone to fucking call them out. And there's so little fucking discussion of the people who like suffer inside of these systems. And we're seeing it happen like right now. We're recording this months before it comes out, but I guarantee you, whenever this episode comes out, the same fucking shit will be going on. And this is a movie that like makes you think of the people, right? In a real way. That's
it's
like
the characters inside it, the characters who are suffering.
Is not fascistically obsessed with the powerful men doing the terrible thing. Which I always
you barely get to know them at all.
There is this like perverse kind of like morbid fascination with like how can anyone be capable of something that evil, but spending more time thinking about them than the people who are on the receiving end of their actions is like part of a fucking giant cultural problem. And I also think you saying, David, like, I understand if I were to say to someone like you should watch this and they go like, I don't want to see movies about stuff like that. I couldn't push back on them. But you're also like anyone who would say that has probably seen 20 generic action movies that are about this in a glib way. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to Taken.
It's super similar to
Taken.
Taken.
It really is.
Extremely.
It's just a completely different mold of it, but it is like, yes, a shadowy ring kidnaps a daughter,
But it's removing the distracting pleasures that give you an easy way to process these types of things, while also making you think about the harder things, not in a sort of torturous, graphic way. And I think to that extent, it is kind of a movie about our relationships to these kinds of stories and which parts of them we want to think about and which parts we don't.
Sure.
And that like makes it remain very sticky to me. Even though I do feel like it has disappeared a little
bit. Ben, had you seen this movie? You'd seen this.
Yeah, no, I went to see it in theaters because Griffin.
This was my favorite movie that year.
And I feel like the two of us were just like, I think you'll like it. This guy's a little shabby. This hobo guy.
But I hadn't revisited it since.
No.
It really affected me. It's a weird way to kind of kick a day off.
It is.
Sure. And we haven't been doing much podcasting in the last 2 or 3 days. So it's like,
we've been in a real crunch. Yeah. Look, Lynne Ramsay, one of my favorite filmmakers, people saying, is she worthy of having this series? There are other people hooting and hollering on the Reddit saying like, ready for 5 weeks of the bleakest shit in the world.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
I've only seen Ratcatcher as like one of our other movies. Also,
I think you're gonna dig
pretty
if you.
unpleasant,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think I think you would dig some of the other ones. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think all
Oh,
of her
I'm sure.
movies
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
this, where they're not punishing and they're not chores to watch. I understand that like you might have triggers that make you just incapable of getting any enjoyment of watching a movie out of this, and I
Mhm.
would never argue that with people. But like I tend to exist at these extreme poles of my favorite movies. Either tend to be like incredibly functional, poppy, plotty storytelling entertainment,
Yeah.
or like vaguely plotless mood pieces about the worst things in fucking humanity. And I think I'm really like my obsession with fucking baby movies is like comes out of what I find fascinating about the mechanics of being able to convey in the ones that are good to me a larger emotional idea that can speak to an inner life of a child in a way that is like so clearly communicated and clean and economic.
Mhm.
And on the other side of that, it's like, can you tackle an idea that is so big, that's almost abstract and unspeakable, and get that across without those kind of storytelling tools, and construct your story in a different way? Those are like my two favorite types of movies. And there are other filmmakers that we've talked about who I feel like do this kind of thing, like Robert Bresson, who's like one of my favorite directors ever. And years ago, I pushed on David the idea of doing it. And David just correctly responded with like, I want you to imagine doing 15 episodes on Robert Bresson.
I love Bresson so much.
He's the GOAT.
I would say the other problem with doing Bresson is it's like that is a man who is so completely devoted to his way of telling stories and making movies.
Yeah.
That there isn't much variance.
No, agreed.
If you're going through beyond the stories he's telling, but like, and what did he do with this? So it's like, oh, he did the same shit he always does. You know, like, which is why he was good. Like,
but like to me, this is the perfect moment to cover Lynne Ramsay. 5 is the exact right amount.
Mhm.
There's like enough of a body of work there across almost 30 years that is meaningful. And if it was 6 episodes in a row, it would maybe break us. I'm excited to be able to like follow up with her when she makes other films.
Yeah, check back in. The same way we're going to do with JGL.
Yeah.
And we are going to do that.
They're equally important.
And I hope Hayes knows that.
Yeah, I got to tell him.
Hayes, you gotta
We got to book more flights.
you gotta issue the bad news. It's like we're like process servers informing him.
Just like post dating something where it's like 2027, like, you're going to be flying to New York.
It's the whispering in George W. Bush meme, ear meme.
Right.
But it's, sir, we have just received notice that a second Joseph Gordon Levitt film has gone into production.
So this film was at the Cannes Film Festival, as we mentioned, and it was the last film shown in competition, which pissed Ramsay off a lot. Although I think that's partly because the movie wasn't done and they were probably punishing her a little bit. But then it won 2 awards to her total surprise.
But often that's a little bit of a dumping spot because maybe the picks have already kind of calcified.
The Cannes is so political with this stuff. That's the weird Cannes year. Pedro Almodovar is the jury, the head of the jury. Will Smith was famously on the jury. And the somewhat scurrilous rumor was always that a lot of people, including Pedro, wanted BPM, the French movie about like gay
crisis.
politics in the 80s in France, to win. And Will Smith resisted that. That may be completely made up. I have no idea.
But
and I should take Pedro Almodovar's name out of my mouth so Will doesn't slap me.
True.
They instead gave it to Ruben Östlund's The Square, which is not a bad movie, but it was kind of like, felt compromisey.
And then feels more absurd when they gave it to him again for making a very similar movie.
I prefer this to that movie, certainly.
I do.
I prefer this movie, I think, to pretty much anything in competition that year, but there's some good movies like Good Time, the Safdie movie is there. The Beguiled, it's an okay movie.
She won director?
Killing of a Sacred Deer is there.
Is that right that Sophia won director for that?
Let's find out. Official awards. Yes, she won Best Director. Okay. BPM won the Grand Prix, which is second prize. This one, screenplay, tied with Sacred Deer, and Phoenix won actor. And then it came out and it made a couple $1 million, in America.
But
we're gonna do the box office.
An Amazon release in April
6th, 2018. And that's on limited screens, obviously, but it opened kind of big on 44,000 per screen average. Very good.
Joaquin showing up for those Q&As.
Has the juice, had the juice.
Yeah.
Number 1 at the box office, though, is a a franchise starter. It's a new movie. It's a huge hit.
It's not Pitch Perfect, is it?
No, it's a franchise starter. So the start of the franchise.
I know.
Pitch Perfect didn't start in 2018.
What is it? 2012?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is closer to either 2013.
Pitch Perfect's kind of an Obama era movie, and this is more of a
kind of.
I was on Workaholics at the time, and I remember Adam coming back from filming it. I think in between seasons 3 and 4 of that
he had
show.
that bumper
so that would be
bump.
around. Got the bumper bump, baby.
Yeah, that pep in his step.
Bumper in Berlin.
No, this is a film that I feel like that it hit big was not surprising because it had like a really robust, good advertising campaign, had a really hooky premise, but it did come out of nowhere a little bit.
It's like, not Kingsman. It's not the first Equalizer. It's a horror movie.
But like epic horror, like big scale horror.
Epic horror, big scale. April. Is it based on anything?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's not. I'll tell you this, that the word that it had opened to $50 million in its first weekend was probably some good news for the director of this film.
Oh my gosh, it's A Quiet Place.
There we go. That was an incredible clue.
Thank you. Where is some good news, by the way? Is that where's
active development?
CBS paid
we
what,
purchased
$80 billion in gold Cougarans?
Hollywood Handbook recently did an episode about how we purchased the rights to it.
Okay, good. Okay. Some good news.
The problem was they greenlit it and then good news stopped happening. There was no material for the show.
The well ran dry.
I'm just picturing John Krasinski sitting in front of a blackboard saying, "News is all bad. How do we find good news?"
What do you guys think of A Quiet Place? It was one of those things where I saw the trailer and I was like, John Krasinski directed a no-talking horror movie? And then you watch the trailer and you're like, it looks pretty good.
I'm somewhat loath to give it to the guy, but I do think you kind of got to give it to the guy on that movie.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I saw it.
I had a
in the
great
theater.
time seeing it in theater. Everyone was quiet.
Yeah,
because it was quiet.
I saw it with Ben Rogers, and he'll always have a funny reason that he hates something when you walk out, and he was like, why is everybody, it's basically post-apocalyptic. They all look like they stepped out of a fucking J. Crew catalog. The fucking clothes are so nice.
Yeah.
It's like, I never for a second did it enter my mind, but I was just like, yeah, you're right.
There's a little bit of Man of the Woods in the styling of that movie. But I think it's an effective film.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Number 2 at the box office.
Has to be Rampage.
Is not Rampage, and I'm not sure. That must have come out a little later. There's a film we covered on the podcast, though, a new release from one of the more famous directors who ever lived. A solid hit, big genre movie. It's made about $100 million in 2 weeks.
It's Ready Player One?
It's Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One.
I was going to say, next week Rampage comes out.
And kind of
Dwayne has a bit of a meltdown about being beaten by the second week in A Quiet Place and was like, ha, got to give it to my friends. Love Kraz Dog and the Bluntmeister or whatever. And then posted 7 things about I made this movie because the conversation between an animal and a man is the most important thing that could happen. I remember my dad pointing to a gorilla in a cage.
Number 3 at the box office is a new film as well that is a comedy. And I remember at the time thinking this number was underwhelming. Now I look at it and I'm like, this is sensational. It's opening to $20 million. That's
Tag?
awesome. No.
Okay.
No, not Tag.
But
I would have told you it was based on a true story if it was Tag. I would have told you it's based on a true game.
You would have given me a Britney marathon.
No, that's a great movie.
Right. Okay. But yes, this is this thing.
But I remember I saw this at a screening and I was like, oh, that was so much fun. That's going to be a big hit. And then it was in my memory, kind of just an okay hit. But
the interesting thing about Tag actually is just to take a quick detour.
Please.
People genuinely believe that we stop playing because we grow old. When in fact, and Tag proved this, we grow old because we stop playing.
Yes, and that's actually why the audience needed to know it was a true story. Because if they thought it was just from the pen of some Hollywood fabulist, they go, these are the lies they sell us to comfort our soul, but come on, let's get real. And you need to know, no, these guys walk the talk and they tag the tag.
It's my favorite comedy where a major set piece is a pregnant woman faking a miscarriage so her husband will win a game of tag.
Wow. I have seen Tag. I went there. I played the game. Did not remember that. I remember something with cancer.
Ed Helms dies, but yet the game doesn't end.
He's actually sick.
Because that's why he's like, guys, we gotta play tag.
But that's like a twist that you find out at the end.
But
his urgency
is
has
the
been
most telegraphed twist of all time, I will say. I do not think I was bowled over by it.
I feel like it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and the last 40 minutes are drama.
I think I felt that it was that long. It's listed as an hour 40. I remember it being Satan Tango, like
it definitely felt
pacing.
like it. Durational.
Yes.
I remember
Felt like they were all real friends.
Absolutely. Well, you can tell these are guys who are the same age.
Oh yeah,
have the same vibe.
I mean,
Hannibal, John Hamm,
when Jeremy
my
Renner's
friend Jake,
in a
the leader
film,
of the Dink, who's wonderful,
He's-
great guy, good actor, and by the way, did a good job in Tag,
good job by him in Tag.
Yeah.
which is my favorite comedy I've ever seen.
But
where one of the biggest pivotal moments
fucking
is
this
a
also
woman's
2018.
husband is going to get tagged, and so she pretends to have lost the pregnancy.
Who's the woman? Can you tell me? I do not remember.
All of their wives in that movie are overqualified. Like, I want to say Rashida Jones is in it, Leslie Bibb, Annabelle Wallace is the journalist who's covering them as a story.
Mhm.
Now you guys are what, playing tag?
Isla Fisher. Isla
got a little-
Fisher.
Isla
I think, is
Fisher's
one of
in
them.
there, yeah.
Yeah, she's in there. She's on the
I'm trying to remember
coast.
who the pregnant one is, though.
Leslie Bibb's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've told this anecdote before, but my ex-girlfriend and I were on a plane, and we were like, let's like find a movie we can both watch together. Oh, we should watch Tag. We like comedy movies.
Fun.
And we put on Tag, and we're watching Tag on our like parallel back of seat screens. And then like 35 minutes in, we both took the headphones off and turned to each other, and we're like, I don't know if there's been a single joke in this movie so far. It's acting like a
They
comedy,
have to set up the game.
but I kind of can't identify anything that would be classified as a joke.
Love you, Jake Johnson. Come on the pod anytime.
I think it is Leslie Bibb that does it.
I
It
think
sounds
you're
right.
Number 3 at the box office. You guys have not guessed the 2018 comedy I'm talking about. Tag is a 2018 comedy.
Oh, it's not Neighbors 2.
No.
But you thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was fun.
And you were
I
a
had a good
little
time.
surprised it didn't perform better.
But then I have the memory
Looking
of it
back
not
now.
performing well. But I'm like, I don't know, 20 million opening,
That's
60 million
crazy.
domestic. It's not bad.
Right, like by 2015, the narrative is the comedy movie has died, and all
they're
these
not
movies
doing like hangover numbers.
were opening
right.
to 20 and making 60.
Right, which
and now
is
you were like,
fine.
all the goodwill in the world got Naked Gun to like a 17 opening weekend.
Right.
Okay, wait a second.
It's a sex comedy.
It's a sex
Stars
comedy.
a bunch of guys.
It
that
stars
we
a
all
bunch
like.
of guys.
Yeah, sure. Guys and gals.
It's not that awkward moment.
No, it's good.
It's
I didn't
good.
come out of that awkward moment
Right.
telling you it's pretty good.
It stars a bunch of gals and girls that we
sex
like.
comedy.
Who's the distributor?
Universal.
The fine folks at Universal.
It premiered it at South by, so it's got that classic sort of South by March premiere
Yeah.
into an April release. Build
Yeah.
up some hype.
And people thought it was gonna hit.
Yeah, you fully see Gary Cole's penis. Does that help?
Oh fuck yes! What is this movie? I remember the penis,
Figured that would
and now
get
I'm
you.
trying to zoom out for the context. You fully see Gary Cole's penis. It's a Universal picture. It's a sex comedy with a bunch of gals and girls that we like. If you name the director, will it give it away for me?
Kay Cannon.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
Blockers.
There
you
we
go.
go.
Not a bad movie.
Not a bad movie.
Totally fun.
But yeah, you're right. There
John
were
Cena is
years.
he's trying to block him.
Oh yeah, John Cena's got to do some blocking.
There were years
He's
of
good.
R-rated comedy,
Yeah.
plays at South by, blows the roof off, word of mouth translates into 40 million opening weekend, $100 million. And that was the first one that was like,
It did okay.
okay.
And then like Good Boys, I think was the next year.
That one did
Mm.
stupidly well.
That one did pretty well.
because children had never cursed before.
That's true. Number 4 at the box office is one of the most successful films, I mean, I guess ever made.
Really?
Kind of.
It's not Avengers Infinity War.
No, but it is a superhero film. I guess it's it's maybe not quite at the top.
Captain
top tier.
Marvel?
No,
Okay, that did make $1 billion.
it did, and this made $1.3 billion, which is a lot of money.
It's a superhero film.
It is. It's very good.
You think it's very good?
Arguably the best movie Marvel ever made.
It's
Or Ragnarok?
No,
it's arguably the best movie Marvel ever.
I might not argue that, but some would.
Some would.
But I really like this movie. It's really good.
It's not Avengers.
No,
It's not a Thor. It's not a Guardians.
No.
It's not a Spider-Man.
Black Panther?
there you go.
Oh, sure. Oh, it's still in there. Jesus.
There you go.
That's why I wasn't fucking thinking of
Yeah.
it, because that's a February release.
Been out for 2 months. It's
Yeah.
made $670 million.
Yeah, quite a big hit.
Number 5 now. What is this? This must be a Tyler Perry or something like
it. Faith-based?
It's a Tyler Perry film, but not faith-based.
Okay.
One of his more, dark dramas.
Huh. It's not
kind of a sexy thriller, like an erotic drama. I don't know.
No Good Deed isn't Tyler Perry, right? I just have that title.
I'm not sure, but
this
is not that
movie. Okay. Tyler Perry, the non-Irish
And No Good
Ed
Deed
Burns.
is not. No, that's not Tyler Perry. But you know what? This movie shares a star with No Good Deed.
So it's a Taraji?
Taraji P. Henson.
It's a Taraji. And it's not I Can Do Bad All by Myself. It's him going a little more thrillery.
Yep. I think it's the wife. She's a wife, and she's stalking and killing her ex-husband because they get divorced, and then he gets successful after, and she supported him the whole time, so she's gonna kill him.
Is it like a one-word title with a colon and then a?
It is just a one-word title.
It's because it's not Temptation Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
It is not. No marriage counsel confessions have.
Yeah, it's a one-word title. It's not like Betrayal, is it?
No, but you're closer.
I'm close.
Is it like a divorce word?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of a legal word.
Is it acrimony?
Okay,
acrimony.
There we go.
Okay,
there we
it's
go.
I want to say alimony, but there's no way it's that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where they're like, plop Taraji in a chair. She looks mad. It's called acrimony. People are like, yeah, $50 million to this one.
When we talk about just the box office still hasn't gotten back to where it was before the pandemic, part of that is Tyler Perry doesn't fucking put shit in theaters.
Wow.
He used to have 3 movies a year that would basically automatically open at 15 or 20 and make 60.
Yep.
Would just do a quick blockers.
So number 6 is a Christian movie called I Can Only Imagine, based on the song by the group Mercy Me.
Of course.
Dennis Quaid's in that one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that movie's mega normal.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 is the kind of underrated, not bad political drama Chappaquiddick, about how Ted Kennedy is a no good Nick.
It's not bad, but it's not very good either.
It's okay.
Isn't that one also where Byron Allen bought it for a ton of fucking money at a TIFF? And
I believe it was an Entertainment One
Yes.
release. Yes.
And thought it was going to be a big Oscar player. And then,
because it's sort of got that sheen to it.
He would have been.
Jason
he
Clarke
should have spent that money on some leashes for some of these comics.
These comics.
You know what I mean?
Because they're running
you
out
got that
all
much
over the
dope.
place.
They're
if
going
unleashed.
crazy on that show.
It's crazy that David the Dog's never been on this show. Because, we like to say sometimes that Sims is off the leash. Bow, wow, wow.
Okay, that's, loan that to Byron, because sometimes when I see this, I go, guys.
Yeah.
I do
want to get this under control.
Can I say, I do sometimes feel like Byron is asking for it, though.
100%, Griffith.
Sometimes
100.
I'm like, Byron, you are walking straight into this. If you don't want to know, then don't ask, hey, what do you think about airline food?
Yeah. You've been talking a lot about hockey and basketball?
Byron, you have taken the leash off with your words in that moment.
Yeah, you might as well be unhitching the little thingy on the
little thingy?
It might as well be unhitching the little thingy.
I mean, with that question.
Yeah, you're asking for it.
Chappaquiddick. Jason Clarke plays Ted Kennedy.
Correct.
Ted Kennedy, a famous cucker of people. He was always having affairs and such.
This is actually
that why the film doesn't work?
Yeah, the public, they couldn't put their finger on it at the time, but it felt wrong.
Clarke plays a Kennedy? He needs to be getting cheated on.
What are you trying to prove? And I'm not buying it.
Number 8 of the box office is Sherlock Gnomes.
Of course, the sequel to Romeo and Juliet.
Right, there you go. Number 9 is Pacific Rim Uprising, which is a true, straight to memory hole sequel.
Yeah.
Number 10 is Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs, which is expanded this week and is doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the box office.
That's the box office.
It's an April box office.
Yeah.
And this is a good movie, and the Clem Dog was here with us today. And
the best. Clem Dog.
We talked about, you were never really here, and it was
best
awesome.
in the business. We should put a leash on you.
Can't believe this worked out.
I know.
Because you were going to come on no matter what. But you're a busy guy. You're in LA. You have kids. You don't travel to New York that much. And when you do, you're kind of like, hey, in New York for an evening. I assume that's not going to work.
I am here for 36 hours every time I come. And that is the case again today.
You get called in as a wet works comedy writer in a crisis situation to rewrite a thing for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm,
and we've had you on the schedule for a couple things for the last 18 months, and we kept holding off being it'd be great to get it.
Great.
Well,
it was. There was twice that I had to come here, but then when I came, it was again like this, where it was
what were
I'm
you
here
gonna
for
do?
a day and a half. With which?
Loser was one that.
Oh yeah, well,
and there was another one. I feel like a couple times you've been
and the man who wasn't there, I think
that would have actually been beneficial for us, but we can talk about that later.
I did.
Yes, but I also feel like we would show you the schedule and you'd be like, these 5, I have an in on this. I have a funny story or experience with this. The second we committed to Ramsay, we were like, iron lock, no matter what you're doing.
Was
this.
nice
it has to.
I love that movie.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's just really funny. We're like, a fucking Hammer pedo movie. That's you, buddy. Written in ink.
That's me, man. If it's whether it's 127 hours Don Jon or the Hammer
the big 3
pedophile vengeance movie, you know that the Clem dog is ready to ride.
It's your ego, super ego.
Let's get you a really regular actor next time. I mean, those are all different kinds of sort of like oddball actors. But like,
that is a good point.
It'd be funny if next time we were just like, let me just do like a George Clooney movie or something.
Hanks.
Well, The American, your favorite.
Yeah,
I love The American.
For our Anton Corbijn miniseries.
I love Control.
Yeah,
you were talking a little greasy about it, and
I haven't seen it since 2007 or whatever. Right, whenever it came out.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, Control's awesome. You should watch Control. Clem Dog, anything specific you want to plug, other than obviously start getting excited for the Dink now?
Yeah, get ready for the Dink. Please do. Watch that movie when it comes out. Listen to Hollywood Handbook. We've got a Patreon too, the Flagrant Ones too. Season 3 of Severance, come out sometime in this decade, and
probably
it's gonna be here. And so I've been working on that.
I'm very excited.
Cooking up some cooking up some freaky stuff. I can't give away too much, but
I watched the show
there
and I
is no Severance.
It doesn't exist, and that was a joke the whole time.
See,
and we were making fun of you.
And I see a lot of pieces.
And the numbers are just math. You add them together to make other numbers.
They equal your birthday, and it's a joke on you.
I see a lot of think pieces that are like, we analyze the mysteries of Severance, right? And people are going down the rabbit holes trying to solve it. And I only got one question when I'm watching Severance, which is, what are these writers smoking, and where can I get some? But Sean, what do you guys smoke in the writer's room? And could you give me the contact information of the person you get it from?
Yeah, so I will get in touch with you, but we smoke dried banana peels.
There we go.
That we read in high school on the internet could get you as high as weed. And so we put them in the oven and then we rolled them up and smoked them. And it just kind of made you feel like pretty gross.
Isn't it crazy to think that when you're 15, you can buy into something like that? Even though you're like,
oh, I have bananas.
Right. You're like,
it's so hard to get weed.
If this gets you higher than weed, then everyone would be smoking banana peels all the time. They're legal.
There's you had to dry them out in the oven first. Was like what the article told us.
I remember my friends, we found out about morning glory seeds, that you could take them and they would like make you feel high.
See you on the moon, brother.
The thing that no one said in wherever book or fucking early internet site they read it on is that if you buy seeds, they come coated in like pesticides and fertilizers and stuff.
They are flowers.
We got all so sick.
Yeah, just puking.
Just puking. And at first we're like, maybe it's working.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Really
okay,
good.
I feel high because I can't stop throwing up.
No,
that's a weird thing about
violently ill.
Those experiments where you go like, well, I'm supposed to feel weird. So like maybe feeling horrible is actually good.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing.
I like this actually.
Yeah.
Every so often on Reddit cooking, someone's like, I poisoned my whole family because I didn't cook the beans for very long. Because like if you get dried beans, you have to cook them. You have to like soak them and then cook them for like some amount of time. And everyone's like, yeah, don't you know? Like if you don't soak them, then like you'll just get like insane food poisoning and like you could die. And it's like, why is that on every can of fucking beans?
Go ahead and throw a sticker on there for me.
Jesus. Anyway.
Give me a bean sticker.
Just happens on once a month. Someone's like, hey, I poisoned my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you did, I guess. Version of that. I'm done. Jesus, we have to record ads.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you for being here, Clem Dog. If I can just throw in an additional plug, your co-host, Hayes Davenport, did an episode of the since-ended podcast High and Mighty years ago about newspaper comics that I think is just really good and I revisit a lot.
Long tail on
Real
that one.
long
A lot of
tail
people
on that
still
one.
checking that one out. won't quit. So yeah, please do go listen to that.
Yeah.
We'll link it in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can just use our platform as much as possible to boost that episode.
Actually, let's just throw
to
the episode at the end.
Can we do a feed drop? Can we maybe look into licensing?
I heard
that
they
episode?
ended high and mighty because he just sort of looked back a couple years and went like, "We're not topping this thing."
Right.
Thank you for being here, Clement.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Always great to see you. Next week, tune in for Die My Love.
I believe so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless
There's no new release in between?
Nope.
Let's double check that.
Next week is Die My Love.
Okay. Lynne Ramsay's newest release. Another very normal, very fun.
Probably on Mubi by this point, I would assume.
I think almost definitely.
Streaming on Mubi.
Yeah. So why not pull that up, give it a watch in time for next week's episode.
Over on Patreon, coming up in a few days, we're doing our annual mailbag episode.
That's the plan, I think. Yes.
I can't wait.
So,
I love the smell of an open envelope, and we're going to have it many times over.
Yeah, if you're interested in that, you can subscribe at patreon.com/blankcheck.
I'd rather hear the female bag episode.
My brother.
Hey, come on. Hey, I'm married. I ain't dead.
You're wrong about that. And as always, it's hammer time.
Blank Check with Griffin and David is hosted by Griffin Newman and David Sims. Our executive producer is me, Ben Hosley. Our creative producer is Marie Barty Salinas. And our associate producer is AJ McKeon. This show is mixed and edited by AJ McKeon and Alan Smithy. Research by JJ Birch. Our theme song is by Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel, with additional music by Alex Mitchell. Artwork by Joe Bowen, Ollie Moss, and Pat Reynolds. Our production assistant is Minnick. Special thanks to David Cho, Jordan Fish, and Nate Patterson for their production help. Head over to blankcheckpod.com for links to all of the real nerdy shit. Join our Patreon, Blank Check Special Features, for exclusive franchise commentaries and bonus episodes. Follow us on social at Blank Check Pod. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Checkbook, on Substack. This podcast is created and produced by Blank Check Productions.